the two cars were communicating via WhatsApp and social media, looking for who they were looking for. Basically, coincidentally, they saw my brother and they just went get him instead because they couldn't find who they were looking for. Ended up chasing him in and out of cars. They ended up fighting with a few of them, battling them, trying to get away from them. The girl screaming, and he got stuck in between two cars. And the lad, one of the main lads, hit him so hard in the neck, the bit in the face and the neck with a sword, a katana. It broke his carotid artery, jugular, broke his neck, and then his head was sort of hanging off to the side. So that's why it's classed as decapitation. So he lost enough blood to die in around 45 seconds, and then he stabbed his body and just kept stabbing his body as they were on the floor.
Welcome to From Rock Bottom, the podcast where we explore real stories of struggle, survival and strength. Each weekly episode features honest conversations with people who faced mental health battles, addiction, trauma and life's darkest moments, and found a way to rise again. A quick content warning: some of the topics we discuss may be distressing or triggering. We talk openly about mental health, addiction and other sensitive issues. Please listen with care, and if you need to, take a break or reach out for support. You're not alone, and this space is here to remind you of that.
Boom, and we are on. Today I'm joined by Byron Highton. He's going to share with us his story of how he lost his brother, his own mental health battles, and then how he himself become one of the UK's leading anti-knife crime campaigners. Byron, how are you doing?
Yes, I'm good, mate. Well, I've got to apologise to your viewers. Like I said, I cancelled this morning, didn't I? I don't get ill all year. We did 48,000 miles this year. I travel that much. I have to usually change my car every single year. All the stuff, taking knives off the streets, busiest knife crime teacher in the country, all the Christmas stuff, and I get ill 3 days before I come and see you.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. So I got up this morning at 2, went to my local garage. I didn't even, you go to the garage and you can't even go in and you've got to knock up window.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he recognised me because I go all the time. I feel the event coming. So I got some cough syrup, got in bed, just sat there coughing all night, and I woke up and I went, no, what's the point in cancelling? So I'm here. So I apologise to all you viewers if I sound like croaky or anything like that and I have to blow my nose. I've even brought my own tissues. I do apologise, but at least we're here.
We are here. We are going to do it. Right, mate. Just like everyone, I'd like to start from the start, from your childhood.
Yeah.
Let's go from there.
Yeah, I had a really good childhood. Do you know what? Once I got to this stage where I'm at now in my career, it's helped me understand myself psychologically so much. It's unbelievable. I'm so comfortable in my skin now because of my childhood and because of this job that I do, that I also now have got a clear vision of that if I was this educated on myself as I am now as an adult as when I was a kid, I know I'd still be the same person, but I'd also be a geek. Where in school you'd be like, oh, geeks, geeks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like my type of guy in it. So I'd be like, no, Trav's in it. But I know I'm so comfortable in my skin now that I don't care that I like aliens. I don't care that I like listening to pyramid stuff. I don't care that I like computer games and I'm a grown man and I still play my Crash Bandicoots, my Resident Evils. I don't care that I can sit there and have a 3-hour conversation about films or a TV show, aliens and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of that comes from my childhood. I've got my mum embedded in me. My mum's side of the family, like with the ADHD and stuff, because I'm a bit crazy. I do 20,000 things at once. That's probably the number one thing that people say to me is that you need to slow down, you're going to die. But it's part of the reason why I became so successful, because I don't slow down. Hence, I'm ill now and I've actually not been asleep. But a lot of the actual career that I do now comes from my dad. Now, my dad is like old school, chav, Stone Island, Burberry, proper bloke. Proper geezer, yeah. Sounders out, still sounders out now, you know. Like, I remember being a kid and everyone was like, God, your dad's fit. Like that, and he'd never let me leave the house without having a splash of jupe on, stuff like that. It's like, no son of mine stinks, you know, like that. But what me and my dad did as kids is that our relationship was based around films, Star Wars, computer games, chipping computers, downloading games, doing this, modifying games, modifying computers, going to markets looking for the best deals and stuff like that. So it was a proper like you go to your dodgy DVD guy.
Yeah.
So and his house was always busy. We was always going to the next person, looking at that. So he was a proper grafter, worker, decent man. Went to work every day, had his hustles, and all my personality that you can see on the exterior. So inside, I think it's my mum, definitely my mum, very passionate about things. Is all my dad, and it's crazy. Like we just said before off camera, that there's no such thing as coincidence. You know, everything's written out in the stars for us, like fate, and this job's done that to me. Like once a BBC reporter came to watch my work, and she went, instead of just coming and interviewing you, I want to watch what you do. There must be a reason why you're getting all these results. I said, yeah, come watch it. And at the end, honestly, out of all the things to say, she went, what university did you go to? I said, I didn't go to university. I dropped out of school when I was year 9. Just starting year 9, and she went, no. She went, you must have. I said, I didn't. She went, well, that what we just watched then, me and the film crew just discussed. If you submitted that, that'd pass you your university degree to become to work as a professional like news reporter or work, creating the content behind the scenes. And I went, really? She went, honestly, that is better than what we did in college. She went, how did you do that? And when I look back now, I've been doing this for so many years, it is because of the TV and the films and stuff like that. And it's like, I know it sounds crazy and so off track, but I can watch a film and within 5 minutes see the propaganda, manipulation and brainwashing so much that I can ruin the film for everyone in the room. It's actually quite a common thing, especially with ex-partners and stuff like that and friends. And I go, here we go, don't say no, don't say no. Because we know you're going to guess it. And even if it's the most craziest plot twist, I'll go, got it. And honestly, once you understand how people make films, how people make content, which is designed to get you hooked, even if the hook's for a good reason, just to make you enjoy the movie, you can actually see the bad hooks, that propaganda and manipulation and brainwashing. So when I made the JJ effect, and we created the first idea behind it, the JJ Effect experience, that's what it's actually called. It is to prove to the audience who's watching it how easy it is to manipulate, brainwash and use propaganda tactics to teach them and throw them so far off off the trail that you can lie to them as a group, as a collective, as an audience. And that's why we got the name the most powerful in the country. And again, I invented that 8 years ago. And it only when the police watched it and people from TV, they went, you do realise you've invented a new way of teaching. And I was like, how? I'm just a chav. I don't get it. But now, I've done this for so long now. I'm so comfortable with myself and I've learned so much about myself. Is that I'm like, wow, where did I actually learn that skill from? And it was my dad.
Yeah,
it was literally, and we spoke about this briefly yesterday, didn't we? It's ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. So I had a brilliant upbringing, decent mum. Sometimes she had 3 jobs at a time. My mum was like a 90s raver. So I remember her still going out raving and stuff like that, having fun. I don't care what she got up to. She was just young in it. That's in my blood. My raving days are nearly over. But wow, I've had some raves, Jesus, and all around the world. I've had, and again, that comes from my mum. But at the same time, my slang, my body language, my career, my charisma, the way I am with girls, everything that part comes from my dad. It was somewhat normal and enjoyable, and also it was in the 90s. No one was killing themselves.
Yeah, it was a different era altogether. You used to play out, you used to knock your pals' doors and ask if you're coming out.
Yeah, well, it was like, how did you used to call for someone? You'd knock on the door. How did you know where all your friends were? What house had all the bikes outside?
Yeah.
Going to Blockbusters, and no kids committed crimes on or in businesses. So you'd go in Blockbusters, there could be 30 kids in there playing a game or game. Remember Game used to actually have game consoles. You don't have that no more, do they? Because you can't have kids in there. leaving your bike outside and coming out the next day and it's still there. Rollerblading, going in the park, you know, building rope swings, falling out of ropes, falling out of trees, swimming in polluted water. No one cared.
Yeah.
No one cared. You know, we are the last generation. I mean, I've said this before many times, especially in my staff training. I think that in the next 100 years, you know, we're hopefully alive still have invented something for consciousness and stuff like that. Me and you are still doing whatever we're doing. Like, we're a robot now, Elon Musk robot. But even if we're not, even if we're dead, I think there is a possibility that, you know, in history, you know, we open our history books and we look back and we laugh at things. We go, look at these. Or you used to have like human waste going down the middle of the street and rats, and then the rats spread the plague and stuff like that. How stupid were they? Or, you know, I mean, we look back at wars and we go, how stupid were we now? Who's to say that they're not going to look back and then the pupil in the classroom's not going to go, Miss, in the year 2025, they let kids have mobile phones and they could watch paedophiles have their genitals eaten. Okay. Miss, it was okay to be a prostitute as long as you pay your taxes on a platform called OnlyFans. But yet, Tracy here, who was raped as a kid, had a baby to a stepdad, was abused all her life, ended up becoming a prostitute, and she does it legitimately to feed a crack addiction, a heroin addiction, and she takes all the money home to look after her kids, but she'll get arrested. But OnlyFans, yes, that was true. Okay, that's all right. So Andrew Tate, we know he's an idiot. We've learnt about him in another lesson, haven't we? You shouldn't treat girls bad. We know that, don't we? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But they ban Andrew Tate. But hang on. Stab. Brrr, stab. Crack. Murder. Slag. Ho. Prostitute. They were just the lyrics off one song. And that guy is famous. Wow, these guys were idiots in 2025, weren't they, sir? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because that's what we are, a bunch of manipulated, brainwashing sheep. That's it. We are what we consume. It's literally, everyone needs to be careful what you read, what you listen to, and what you view, because it's who you become. And that's obviously, that's pretty much what I teach in a nutshell nowadays. Is that, you know, that knife crime is just the name of what we call the actual issue. The issue is brainwashing, manipulation and propaganda. Yeah. That's it. So I know we'll probably talk about that in a bit, but my childhood was amazing, 90s. You know, I say this to people, like, do you remember getting your first mobile phone with Snake?
Yeah.
No one were killing each other then, were they?
I know.
Mad, innit?
Yeah.
And then, you know, you get to year 2002, very, very weird year. You know, I think it was 2022. I might be wrong. Viewers, you'll probably correct us. But again, I'm thereabouts. You had, at the same time, you had the influx of mobile phones getting Bluetooth, mobile phone cameras, people then realising that girls fancied you more when you had them us battering each other on them. So, oh my God, he's fighting.
Happy slapping was the first
Happy
trend,
slapping, I slapped someone in the face so hard that the eyeball partly came out. Again, I hate that, I did that. But again, it weren't for ill intentions, it was just fun. Made a couple of me and my mates have fights. You know, then the Manchester videos where guys set a homeless man on fire just for jokes, and he killed him. Then obviously it got worse than the street fights, and it's like people seem to add loads of mad visions and views onto why we are where we are now. Listen, lads want girls to fancy them, girls want lads to fancy them. It's the bread and butter of school. It's weird how school's not changed forever. It's crazy, and we complex it and make it 10 times more confusing than what it is. But there's a reason why lads act up, and there's a reason why girls act up. It's because they want the opposite, you know, sex to be attracted to them. That is it, and it's not changed. And I know that because I go in schools every day. But yeah, then what was that? And then that year, do you remember grime music being banned? And then like going on do you remember LimeWire? Yeah. Giving your dad's computer aids. Yeah. And getting
horrendous.
Wow.
Yeah. Horrendous.
You download like one song and your dad would go, Byron, and like your computer's blowing up. But then Dizzy Rascal released Boy in the Corner. You remember that? Yeah. And then
Kid Or Hood was out at the time then.
That was my next step, yeah. And then about either before or just after, Kid Up will come out. And the crazy thing is, right, so when I think it was Boy in the Corner first, but I might be wrong. But when Boy in the Corner happened, I remember going to school and seeing the lads who were already like acting like this a little bit, but like more like chav side, you know, Burberry hats, stuff like that, TN caps and stuff like that. I remember going to school and like hearing words like, yo, what's happening, B? What's happening, brother? What's happening? Yo, he's a pussy, oh yeah. And like, you know, they, you know, I'm from Preston, innit? So like I got a mad accent because I travel, but it's like, they'd be like, yo, what's happening, cha? And he went from that to, what's happening, brother? And I'd be like, I'm looking at my mate and I go, yo, why is he talking like he's like African American? And all my mates are going, well, we don't know what's going on here. Then we went into school next day and his ass is hanging out, you know, and I'm like, hang on, what's going on here? And the next day I'm like, yo, Rockports aren't popular no more. I'm like, yo, Rockports are what made you popular in school. You had to have Rockports. Now it's all Air Force and Donks in it, G. And I was like, yo, this is happening quick. And then I was like, what is going on? What am I missing here? So we all started listening to the same stuff. Then obviously we all started realising that girls like that music. So we all started rapping about stabbing each other, selling heroin, selling crack. And I'll tell you right now, no one in my school knew what heroin and crack was. Do you know what I mean? We all acted like we did. But then because you talk about it so much, then it seeps in, doesn't it? And it starts infiltrating the area. And then kidulthood. Again, I might be wrong. It might have been the other way around. But again, this is like 20 odd years ago. Kidulthood then showed us how to dress. Because then it was like, whoa, how were these lads getting all this mad cat type of clothing from? So people went on this mad rampage of looking for different stores to shop at and different places to go. And all of a sudden these market stores popped up where they had all these gang-like type of clothing, balaclavas, you know, 110s, Air Forces, you know, TNs. And then Foot Locker opened, you know what I mean? It was like, wow, we've got a Foot Locker, we don't need to go to London. So we all started dressing like that. Then JD Sports started selling more urban clothes. So next minute, we're all dressed different. So we've got the language, we've got the dress code, we've got where to consume it from, where to buy it from, all at the same time. And we've also got how do we share it via our mobile phones. And then 20 odd years later, it's now normal for kids as young as 6 to go, what are you looking at, you little dickhead, I'll stab you up.
Yeah, and be ballied up as well at the
Look,
same time.
I mean, I went to a shop yesterday to buy a phone, an Asian shop that I go to, lovely lads, you know what I mean, I was brought up in a Muslim community, so I've got many friends that are total opposite to what people think because of what we watch. It's bad in all communities, isn't it? And he was on front smoking a fag, and he must have been, gang of 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds just went past, just stopped his smoking, and he heard someone shout something, and he went, this is a grown man, he's like 40 odd, and he just went, looked, and he went, what are you looking at, you back here? What? Say something, we'll shank you up right now. What? And he just went, the hell are you talking about? But then when everyone came out of the shop, they all shit themselves and ride off. And then you'll probably go and chill outside McDonald's. Mad innit? Our McDonald's, a place where you get Happy Meals from, is a place where you can get stabbed up now and you need bouncers and security guards. Mm-hmm. But it plays justice to exactly what these kids are, kids. So you've got kids acting like adults. And the problem is that the manipulation, brainwashing and propaganda tactics that these companies use have stolen childhood from young people and replaced it with options of where to buy the products from. It's crazy, isn't it? I say this to everyone who I teach and I speak to. I said, like, when's the last time you saw a Barbie doll advert or an Action Man advert? Mm-hmm. It's next to never, isn't it? Yeah. Because you know you might see them on the kids channels. Yeah, I get that. But then where did we used to see that was primetime TV, wasn't it? Yeah. But where do you see all your adverts now? It's social media, ain't it? It's why I think social media isn't just viewed wrong in the actual level of how dangerous it is for people, but it's viewed wrong is the name is even wrong. It shouldn't be called social media, it should be called the social marketplace. Mm-hmm. It is social because the users make it social, but the actual real reason social media is free is so that the organisations who own them and the platforms can sell advertisement slots so us the users buy them products. Mm-hmm. So really, the name is wrong. And it's that vile, and your algorithm will attack you so much and sell you one style of product. You could have a kid that's never meant to be a roadman, but because they've gone to school and the mates that they're associated with are into that, but then this kid deep down is like, I want to be a geek in it, I'm into this stuff. Mm-hmm. But then Now his algorithm's showing what his mates are consuming. You know, you do that for long enough, you know, you're like a social chameleon. You'll become that person.
Yeah, you see it enough, you think it's right.
Yeah, exactly. And again, then that goes full circle back to what we started the conversation on in ACEs. So these kids are giving themselves accidental ACEs marks, which then are going to become hardwired into the brain, because the brain doesn't stop growing until the 25. And then it's like, then that leads us on to the next topic, is where do bad parents come from? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you hear someone say, oh, blame the parents, but then you've got hundreds of millions of hard-working, committed parents from the 90s, and, you know, the ones that do break through and end up being okay from, you know, modern day time. But then you'll have like a parent and you'll see it and he's shouting at his kids, come on, Jaden, start drop, you little dickheads, get across the road, you fucking little knobheads. But then look at how the parents dress, 9 times out of 10, blacked out, fully clothed. This is a fully 40-year-old man in town at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, it's like, you're not working, bro. Nah, we're on pip, innit? And you're like, what? You know what I mean? And it's, you know, it's crazy, innit? It's like, I'm not too sure where I saw this. It was about a few weeks ago, and someone did the maths. If someone had 4 kids and was on PIP and benefits, and it was like something like the equivalent of like a £78,000 a year job. Yeah. Listen, mate.
And you ain't even got to leave the house.
You ain't got to leave the house, mate. And it's like, I was sat there drinking my coffee going, my man's got PTSD, tried to harm myself, ADHD, dead brother, other dead mates, see kids killing themselves nearly every day. I get the baggage I've got on my shoulders from other people is astronomical. But yeah, I still get out of bed and do it because I was raised that way. And I'm like, and you're on that 78 grand a year. It's just shocking, isn't it?
It's like, I think we were the first social media generation. Started out on Pixo and Bebo.
Yeah, Pixo. It was a MySpace as well.
MySpace.
MySpace was like Pixo was like a rip off of MySpace.
Yeah. You used to create your own page.
What was the other one before? Is it MSN?
MSN was like messaging money on.
Yeah, MSN was when we first. You see what I mean? It's like we've had the breadcrumbs given to us, you know. So we've been shown that we can contact each other digitally. We've been shown we can then share the content. We've been then given the content, and then we've been given the dress code, all in an order. And if anyone literally thinks that isn't intentional, you are off your head. My biggest gripe at the moment, I did a post about it last night. I've got multiple gripes. One is people talking about what should happen in schools and what's going on in schools when they don't teach. Next gripe is toxic masculinity. How people think it's only been invented and come around when Andrew Tate became famous about 4 or 5 years ago. It's like, how thick are we? You know what? If you watch enough TV, you listen to enough of mainstream news, right? You would think all men are arseholes. Yeah. You would think you go out in a nightclub and every single man was slapping every single girl. Tell me last time you went out and you saw a man slap a girl's ass. Yeah. Men are petrified because you do it like that. You're in big shit.
It sounds as if you go to the gym. If you even glance at a woman's direction, she's recorded you because she's recording her workout. Yeah. You're all on social media being a pervert.
But she's got fanny out. Yeah. Mad, innit? Yeah. It's like, I'll describe one of my favourite parts of my presentation, which it annoys people, but then brings them back and they love it. Because we've got, so for your viewers, let's imagine you've got 3 squares at the top of a square slide, yeah? So the first 3, right? And then you've got 3 underneath and 3 at the bottom, right? So the top left one is a picture of Call of Duty, and we watch people getting killed in Call of Duty, and it's actually called the Are You Stupid test. And I made this for 2 reasons. 1, to annoy the teachers, and then 2, at the same time, prove to the teachers that it's actually right to speak about these topics in schools. And again, we're called the best in the country for a reason. I'm employed to make kids pass out, throw up, and ask the questions that the teachers can't ask without them getting sacked. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So the question 1 I'll ask you is that when you kill someone in Call, you'll get these right. No one ever gets them wrong. When you kill someone in Call of Duty, but you sat on your ass playing it, on your Xbox, your PlayStation, is it real or fake?
It's fake.
It's fake, innit? Yeah. And 5-year-olds, when I ask that in primary school, they'll go fake, and the teachers go, and I'll go, what? You never ask your kids if they think that the Call of Duty is real or not. Can't remember what the stats are, and again, your viewers might correct me, you know, because this was a long time ago I looked at, because I just got the stats and I read a bit of research about it, but it's something like 0.001% influence games have on other teenagers killing each other, which is it's below zero. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, again, if you watched enough TV and listened to enough Karens who don't do the research and don't do this job, you would think that kids kill someone in Grand Theft Auto, go downstairs and stab a dog to death. It's like, wow. Question 2 is, it's a picture of you remember the clown off Saw?
Yeah.
And I'll say to the kids, again, including 5-year-olds, the only difference between my adult version and the primary school version is I don't swear. And we take one picture out. And believe you me, some primary schools let me do the full adult version. Yeah, because I've met 6-year-olds that'll kill you. So I'll say, for example, to you, have you got Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you watched someone die in a film then on Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
I'll say 5-year-olds, you got Netflix. They'll all go, yeah, every single one of them in every single school. 99% of them will say yes, even at that age. I'll say, have you watched someone die? They'll all go, yes. I'll go, even in Disney and Pixar films, does the hero usually die? Or does someone die which makes a man or a toy or something become a hero? They go, yes. I go, right, you all know what death is. Yes. Is it real or fake when you're watching it on your TV or your mobile phone? They'll go, fake. And again, the teachers will go, God, now we're talking about death already. And we're only on slide 2. You know what I mean? The actual presentation. And I'll go, right, there we go. But the third picture is a picture of Andrew Tate. Right? And I'll say, okay, kids, right, you're going to get 2 questions now. Don't get them wrong because you're going to get in trouble. You're not going to get them wrong. And the only people who ever get it wrong are girls. And they never get it wrong. They just joke. And then they go, no, we're only joking, yeah? So I'll say, can you like Andrew Tate and can you dislike him at the same time? And everyone says yes. I'll go, okay, I'll tell you why I don't like him. I don't like Andrew Tate because there's video evidence, he talks about being nasty to girls, having multiple wives, and girls should do this, and he uses language against girls, which is just a bit, and yeah, he's probably joking half of the time, but it's just like, with having that much of a big following, you shouldn't do it, you know what I mean? Because it could promote, you know, what you are, what you consume. Mm-hmm. And you'll go, yes. I'll say, so here's question 1. Should you treat girls bad? And every lad goes like, no, like that. And I'll go, the reason why he's saying no is because girls are different nowadays. They'll put you on Facebook. You could lose a job. You could go to prison. You're just not a bad lad. I say, and if someone does treat a girl bad, does that mean all lads and men are bad? And they'll go, no, it just means that lad or that person is bad. And you have to learn, you know, not to do that and maybe get punished and whatever. I say, here's question 2 though, right? So that's why, you know why I don't like him. Has he ever, considering he's more famous than Donald Trump, has he ever on any podcast or any TV show, any radio, interview, has he ever said, children of Britain or teenagers of Britain, go out, get a ZK and stab someone to death? What do you reckon?
No, definitely no.
Definitely not. Yeah. If anything, he talks just as good about knife crime as me, the busiest knife crime teacher in the country. Watch viewers. If you don't like Andrew Tate, brilliant. That's up to you. We're not here defending him all because he's an arsehole. Yeah. If my wife or I have a kid and she comes home with a man like Andrew Tate, I'm gonna be fuming. Yeah. But you're allowed as a fully functioning human with a big brain. Remember, we're not stupid to go. Yeah, but he's all right at that, isn't he? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, just because he says some bad things doesn't mean everything he says is bad.
Yes,
yeah.
But if you watch the media, you'd think he was the devil. Like, don't forget, people compare him to Hitler.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Hitler killed millions and millions of people. Is this how absolutely stupid we're getting? But this is what I mean. So, and all the kids always answer that right. But then we move on to the 3 pictures underneath it, and I go, but here's the next question. Who do you think hates Andrew Tate more, girls or boys? Who do you reckon?
The women?
Yeah, women, obviously, yeah. And everyone say women, yeah. But then I press play, and it's Chris Brown going, oh, these hoes ain't loyal.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 these hoes ain't loyal. And because I'm quite a partier, even though I'm a teacher, and I go to raves and that still, I'll meet kids at these raves and they'll be like, oh, I don't meet them, but they'll bump into me and they're like, oh my God, we didn't believe we'd take a picture. And they'll go, oh, I can't believe it. Yeah, we never thought we'd see you here, but you were telling the truth. And some of my other teacher mates sometimes come. And when I go and like have drinks with other people who are teachers and stuff. And the girl, that song's on, these hoes ain't loyal. Or there's a rapper going, slag, ho, I've got bare hoes. And the girls are at the front, lifting the bras up, tits out, going, I'll have your babies. And I'm going, well, you don't like Andrew Tate? And then I'll move on to the next picture, which is a picture of Chris Brown being prosecuted and a picture of Rihanna with a busted up face. And I'll go, but he's been prosecuted for this. But yeah, Andrew Tate hasn't yet. And I'll go, but he's banned off YouTube and other platforms. But yet Chris Brown is still on mainstream TV shows and mainstream radio over here. Then moving to the next picture, and I'll go, well, girls, don't forget, I'm on your side. Girls are better than men because you create human life. And I'll go, and that's my opinion. I do think girls are better than men because you create human life. I know you need men to do that, but technically you don't with modern day science. And just think a woman's belly is like a nuclear power station. It's crazy how we need to protect women so much because of what we can't function in society without them. And I love women. You know what I mean? We're allowed to. And then I'll go, but you got to understand respect works both ways. And I'll say, I'll give him a demonstration. I'll say, I'm in a nightclub. I'm with my mate. I'm 35 now, so I'm looking for a wifey. I'm not into all this hoary stuff anymore. You know what I mean? Good to look at, when you act like that, but that's about it, really. You know, you look around a nightclub, everyone's got the tits out, everyone's half naked. Some girls come out now in a thong. And then you'll look and you'll go, oh, she's fit, boys. Look at her. She's dressed nice. Oh my God, she's beautiful. Look at her. She looks like a secretary. Oh my God, she's got a good job. She's with a good bunch of girls as well. You know what, boys? I'm going to be brave. I'm going to be brave tonight. I'm going to go over. I'm going to say, can I buy you a drink? You're walking up to this girl and the DJ goes, and here's the next one. And it's, I want you to park that big black dick round this little garage. And the girl's going, round this little garage. And I'm going, oh my God, she knows every lyric and every word and every dance move to WAP, wet ass pussy. And I'll turn around, I'll look at the boys and I'll prick my part up and I'll go, there's a reason why I roll on Tinder. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the final part is British music is identical. Back in 2002, Dizzy Rascal, like I said, released a Boy in the Corner. Within a matter of months, it then affected us to the way we dress. And then you've got, this is the weird thing is, it's in an order. Who's the most famous rapper in Britain now? Is Central C. Before him, it was Bugsy Malone. Before him, it was Stormzy. Before Stormzy, might be wrong. I think it might have been Dave. I'm not too sure. Because obviously, I think, and every rapper gets about 4 years worth of fame before they fizzle out, and the next person comes. But it isn't coincidental, is it? That them rappers I've just mentioned get sponsored by JD Sports. Potentially Foot Asylum, potentially Trap Star, like Central C is at the moment. Then in these songs, they wear the clothes that these clothing brands sell, plus amongst many other clothing brands and many other extremely expensive goods that they all promote about. They all talk about selling heroin, selling crack, and then some of them go on podcasts and talk about they've changed their life. And that they're not about that life no more, and they're about doing this and doing that. But then you go to the next song they release, and it's crack, heroin, crack, Top Boy doing this. We used to do this, used to do that, but still promote that violence to the same target audience that there was when they were young, when they listened to it. So I'm like, what's going on? Mazza does it now. Mazza makes some good songs, you know what I mean? I'm from the 90s, so I can safely say I like grime music and drill music because ain't ever going to manipulate and brainwash me.
Yeah.
It's my job to see this, right? So I can listen to a song, I'm like, oh my God, what a good song. And if it gets too far with a stabbing in it, or if I know it's about a real person, I love that beat. Why have you done that? But Mazza went to prison, didn't he, for X, Y, and Z, did his years, come out because he was rapping in his cell. Is that all right? So that didn't affect your sentence at all, did it not? Comes out, goes straight into Charlie Sloth. Now he's rich, famous and powerful. Everyone's copying him and talking about him, and all the kids literally know every lyric in every school that you go to about stabbing and drug dealing and all that lot, right? But then watch his podcasts. Tells everyone he's a new changed man.
Yeah.
It's called the Mazza effect. I call it the Mazza effect.
Yeah. Crime sells, doesn't it, in reality?
Yeah, exactly the same. Digger D's the same. It's mental. You're flicking through TV like that, and Channel 4 every now and again have an urban show on. Brilliant. And sometimes Big Nasty's on it, and I love Big Nasty. And I go, on the next guest, Digger D. And he comes on, and I'm like, rah. He's just got out of prison for acts of violence again. And instead of it hindering the career, it promotes them further.
Yeah.
This is the problem. We've all become so numb and brainwashed to going in a nightclub, going stab, stab, murder, sell heroin, crack, 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 and go home. You'll sit down and another 8-year-old kid's been stabbed in your local area. A girl's been stabbed. Ava White's been stabbed. This person's been stabbed. You look at the videos of the stabbing. Sometimes you talk about machetes in the schools, arms chopped. That's what another thing people don't talk about. It's not that someone got stabbed. They could have their fingers chopped off, their arm chopped off. My brother was stabbed 24 times the first time. Then technically, the second time, his death is actually called knife crime decapitation. You know, he was injured so bad in his neck, his head fell off to the side. You know, and it's like, but yeah, we're in this nightclub doing that. Then you come home, sit down, going, bloody hell, these kids killing each other. It's mate, it's crazy, isn't it? We need to change this. We need to do that. We need to do this. Turn TV on. Andrew Tate, the bastard, making us kill our kids. And I'm like, I can't believe that the human species has gone from the year 2022 to 2025 and how we are uneducating ourselves. It's like our brains are shrinking because what we're consuming.
I think what it is, like Andrew Tate, he says some valid points, he says a lot of bad points. Yeah. That's him.
Yeah.
But he's not forcing anyone to buy anything. He's not selling any services apart from what obviously fleeces his own people for his own courses. Yeah. But he's not pumping money into anyone's economies by saying like, oh, you need to dress like this, you need to do this, you need to do that. Whereas these rappers are all saying you need these gold chains, you need these tracksuits, you need these shoes, and then that's money going into the economy. Yeah. So I think that's why they're giving half a pass.
Yeah. Well, I just quickly once researched, and again, anyone can do this. I just typed in how much does the music industry make, you know, years, and it's trillions. I said how much, you know, typed in chat, is it GPT, yeah. You just get it wrong, GTP, yeah. GPT, and I said how much does, you know, like the TV and film industry makes, and it's trillions. You know, how much does the clothing industry make? It's trillions. They're all in trillions. You know what I mean? It's like, don't forget, these companies and then these organisations as a collective are making that much money to cure world hunger like 4 times over. You know, to cure this 5 times over, to do this 4 times over, and you're like, but yet we're all screwed. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I know people watching this might be getting the conspiracy vibes now, but listen, you work as a teacher that isn't just based in one school, but then gets to travel the whole country for the last 8 years. It's like I think we stopped trying to count it like 500,000 people, and then that was years ago. And you know, some weeks I see 5,000 people in just a week. You know, it must be like 600,000 people plus I've seen. You know, then all the TV shows that I've taught like this and stuff. Like I've done TV shows for America and stuff and sport like this, and it's crazy because the results we get, like I'll get a message like later on in the night of like the TV show, the producer saying, bloody hell, we've had a record amount of people messaging saying, finally someone's actually saying the truth. Finally, why is it my kid looks like this kid? Why my kid look like that kid? It's like when's the last time you ever saw a gang of emos rollerblading round or skateboarding round in city centres, stabbing people up for their iPhones? You don't, do you? No, when's last time you saw a drug dealing nana? You know, I mean, as much as nanas do exist who are drug dealers, I've met a few of them over my time, but how often are they riding around a little e-scooter, you know what I mean, with a fag in the mouth going, yo, do you want a 10 bag, yo, do you want to score? Yeah. It's next to zero. How many times do you see cowboys riding around on blacked out horses instead of RS3s, you know what I mean, dropping 10 bags off to kids? You know what I mean? How often is it that you go, it doesn't matter if it's a McDonald's, any park, anywhere where there's crime, and the gangsters, or, you know, whatever they want to call themselves, roadmen, gangsters, chavs, whatever, have got bald heads, they're spray tanned orange, they've got like these mad big blocky glasses on, skin tight, you know, like pedal pusher jeans, and like cream slip-on shoes on. When's the last time you saw a roadman that dressed like that? It's not the case at all. 99%, I used to say 95, I didn't want to offend people, but again, the more I do this job, I'm losing like mental patience for, you know, not telling the truth with people. And it's like 99% of the people I teach that are at risk of dying, at risk of killing someone else, at risk of just ruining their life via like weed, you know, it's predominantly weed, or ketamine and stuff like that. They all fit the same like social circle, road man or road gal. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That is it. that is actually it. It's crazy. And like, you'll say that to people, and obviously it's a lot easier for me to explain when I've got the visuals, and all like I do a lot of adult training for huge organisations like social services, and they'll say, can you come and train 300 young care workers and foster parents that are all going through the same things. We're going to teach them about safeguarding, ACEs, and want you to come on and finish the day and hit them hard. And at the end, I'll have a queue of 300 crying parents and foster parents and professionals going, I can't believe how many people were shaking their head at the same time when you were saying the same things, going, that's my son I've adopted, that's my daughter, that's my son, that's that.
Yeah.
Every single person is in the same boat. One of the messages, when I get messages to go and speak to kids at homes, it's like the script has already been written, and I'll look at it and it'll come through to the JJF and I'll say, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed to ask. And I know, I'll go, watch this. I've done it with my mum. I've done it with my partner sat there, and I'll go, how much should I bet I can tell you what that says before I read it? Son's battering them, the mum. There's holes in doors. They're carrying knives, or they've either found knives in the house. They're smoking weed, selling drugs, not going to school. They've gone to a PRU, which is always the case, which PRUs should not exist, as much as I'm a fan of them because they're the teachers, but not of the actual organisations. PRUs should be built into schools. And anyway, the list will go on and go on, wearing black tap clothes, smoking weed, and predominantly punching the mum up, never punching the dad up. I'll open a message, black tap clothes, smoking vapes, smoking weed, stabbing people, talking about killing people, robbing people, stealing from the house, windows are getting put through, gang violence, predominantly beefing on TikTok and Snapchat, not going to school, going to a PRU, kicked out of that, and has punched his mum in the face 4 times and smashed all the house up. And they'll go, wow, how did you know that? And it's not that I'm psychic. It's that one of the pros of becoming so busy and seeing so many people is I've seen the core root of this at the core. Yeah. And it's nothing to do with knife crime. Knife crime, it's nothing to do with knives. Knives is just the glorification of the weapon.
It's just part of it, like wearing a tracksuit's part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Knife crime, the actual crime, the violence. Don't forget, it doesn't have to be the knife crime. It could be gun crime. It could lead to gun crime because that fits into that sort of audience. So it could be going to the end result for that kid could be they either die, they kill someone, they get shot, someone shoots at them, they shoot someone, they become a crackhead, a drug addict, or they spend the rest of their life in prison. So it's multiple things that are at the end of the scale. But then, when you work backwards and you then look at the baby photos, the teenage photos, and you go, whoa, there's the change there. And you see him going into a roadman, and you're like, do you know what I mean? You see the damage, don't you?
Yeah, there's just so much, like I think carrying a knife is part of the uniform, like the bellies, the hat is, the trainers.
Well, I've got one here to show you, I brought it here. So this is what, to a normal person, is called a ZK. This one was taken off a 13-year-old. I did have about 3,000 knives at home. I had must have been about 50 of these. But then I gave them to the police and they've all been turned into works of art. But this one here, this one was taken off a 13-year-old. This is the one that's been edited, so because I take this in schools. It's not just to show them what it looks like, show them the weight of it, it's to show them how crap they're made. So this one's been blunted and the end's been taken off. It's usually about this long, right? But what we mean by how crap they're made, to prove to people that the organisations who make these knives, because when this is brand new, you look at it in a packet and you go, wow, go through the Amazon rainforest and that chop people up, whatever, the most basic pieces of shit. You watch. Sorry everyone, I'm coughing, got a cold. Watch. Well, I'm not even trying. That's how flimsy they are. Yeah. Then when you unravel this, you can see it's just a piece of wood dipped in a bit of black paint. And they've not even, whoever's like on the manufacturing line, they've not even like paid any attention or, making it look nice. It's just electrical tape around there, around that side. Then they tie that up, drop it in the pack, and then send them to Britain because they know they've got a target audience here. That's the thing, isn't it? So what a lot of kids have called, I ask kids, what would you call this, like? And I've had kids call it the Pokemon card of modern day time. Yeah. Yeah, I've had kids call it like the the JD Sports of Knives, like the TN, that you are right, it's a part.
Yeah.
That's basically what they're saying. When I was a kid, there's a reason why the best Pokemon cards were the shinies. There's a reason why the best football cards to collect were the shinies. Because when we're young and our brains had grown and developed, that's what we're vulnerable to. You know, things that, ooh, look at that. I remember in school, my granddad gave me a knife. And it was a little pocket knife, it had a screwdriver on it. And when my bike got a puncture, I'd like use the screwdriver, take it off, take the wheel off, take it to my mate around the corner called Bernard, who used to fix all our local bike, like a local hero, used to fix our bikes. Do you know what I mean? And we could be trusted with that. And I never took it out or anything like that. You know what I mean? And I needed it. And you looked at the knife, weren't even bothered about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you see the fascination. Girls used to have these bouncy balls and they'd bounce it and pick like these jacks up. Remember, it was called like jumping jacks. So there was always things in school which came in and out of fashion and stuck with us. This is just a new version of that. It's crazy, isn't it? How kids themselves have called this like the version of modern day Pokemon cards.
You'd think as well, getting stabbed by that's unsurvivable.
Well,
Stitched up after that goes through.
Yeah. Well, my brother, the first time he got stabbed 24 times with like a machete type knife, and he was a miracle. Like, but he was just an anomaly. Is that what you call it? He was literally this surgeon who helped him came out into A&E and said like, he should be dead. I think he said he looked like a great white shark had bitten his body to pieces. But yeah, so he was lucky. But there's stories of these going, people being stabbed straight through the body. It's gone through like the back, broken the spine, straight through the rib cage, pinned them to a door. You know what I mean? There's a video that I've got on my laptop, ZK type knife. I think it might have been machete, and it must have been razor sharp, and it's sort of like in his skull and in his face like that, hanging out of his face like that. And there's people walking past recording it. The evidence and video evidence out there is remarkable. And again, it's like when teachers, especially walk teachers, go walk, be broken, walk parents, unfortunately, people who are brainwashed by, again, the same things like the propaganda in the news and stuff, who blame other things for knife crime and not the real reason why knife crime is the way it is, because of these organisations that are technically not breaking the law, but because they're paying so much in tax and stuff like that, they see it's like legal warfare against kids. I'll say like, what do you think the worst thing is your kids have seen on the phone? You know what I mean? I've got to guarantee it, you're wrong. And I'll tell them some of the stuff they're seeing, like girls in Dubai, that's a big hot topic at the moment, having sex with dogs and people shitting on the chest and stuff, and apparently getting paid 20 grand and having the mortgages paid off and stuff like that. That's a thing in it. It was men, we know. But yeah, don't forget, toxic masculinity, he's Andrew Tate. And it's like, there's girls out there intentionally going, female empowerment, it means I can sell my body. So I'm going to go and have sex with 1,000 men in a day. Just imagine seeing Bonnie Blue in that multi-million-pound car and living that lifestyle. She looks dead behind the eyes, Just think how many girls are doing that now and building up to that.
Yeah. It's even with the female rappers, they're talking about boss moves, which is claiming child support off a rich man.
Yeah.
It's insane, and they're rapping about that and bragging about it.
I feel sorry for women, really, especially the ones that are just as bad as men, that are easily manipulated, brainwashed, and propaganda skills. I'm going to say that a lot, really, but that's all it is, really. That's all Western life is. This is a brilliant photo I've got, and it shows like an ape. It's evolving into a man, and just it turning into a full man, we walk into a barcode. We are what we consume. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's why council estate kids stay council estate kids predominantly. It's why council estates never change, because we haven't got enough money to change, so we consume what we can to survive. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, it's like, I feel sorry for women, because the female movement is fantastic. You know what I mean? Females should be able to do what men do up until a certain level, obviously, because we know there is biological differences. Women are better than men because they create human life. Men have got denser bones, stuff like this. It's just, and then obviously, and you got to talk like that. It's like, it's called science. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what are you going to do? Like, be in a catastrophic accident, a car crash, go to A&E, and a doctor's about to do some life-changing skill to you, and all of a sudden you go, I watched a YouTube video, don't do that, and you're like, what? And the doctor goes, all right, mate, see in a bit then, you do your own thing and you die. It's mad how daft we've become. So, yeah, just sort of views are clear. Women are better than men, that's what I agree with. But I feel sorry for them, because instead of female empowerment being equal wages, for the right job, having opportunities the same as us, and I mean, I remember we all were not stupid back what it was like in the day when men was a lot more aggressive to women and stuff like that. That's horrible, isn't it? Yeah, you know what I mean? Again, we look back in history and we're horrible at ourselves, aren't we? But at the end of the day, female empowerment now means that you can just act like a prostitute and get away with it. It's like, I say this nearly every day because I'm recently single. Not recently, about 5, 6 months like that. And for every day that goes by, I'm enjoying being single more. But I want kids, so I'm in a very dangerous part of territory because I'm 35. I've had some brilliant relationships, by the way. I'm not saying that they're bad. Oh my God, it's just things have got in the way. A lot of the time, my PTSD, and it's maybe be not so nice or not so loving. And then things just don't work out, don't they? But I've had some amazing relationships, and you know what I mean. So I'm quite lucky with that. But like, I'm looking on Instagram and I'll see this girl, or she'll match me on and the first thing I want to ask, really, you got to wait a couple of questions, is, can I have your Instagram? Some of them go like, oh no, don't give that out, and you go, oh, that's a good girl, girl. But then there's some that will give it to you, and you click their Instagram and they've got 4.5 million followers, and I'll look at the profile and I'll go, you want a man to respect you when you're naked in Dubai and every picture and not one picture has got a man in it, and you're like, what? Delete, next one. And you look at the profile, dating me is like dating a boss bitch, you better get used to it. Okay, next one, 35-year-old, beautiful, all right, I like this one. Oh, you ready to go raving with me every weekend? Okay, next one. And it's just getting more and more difficult because I just want a best mate who can have my back, and when I'm having my bad PTSD dreams and I'm having a bad day, or I can come home and say, oh my God, I had 2 kids today that talk about suicide. Yeah, I've helped them, but I need to get this off my chest. This is what they were talking about. And it's becoming dangerous territory for me because I'm 35, and at what point do I say I'm not having kids? You know what I mean? So yeah, dangerous. But do you understand where I'm coming from? Innit? We're not slagging women off.
No, of course.
I don't think it's making it harder for us to find them good ones.
Yeah, like I said, mate, I've been married twice. I'm 32 now, and both my previous wives was all my age, so same generation, 90s kids. Yeah. And they had good morals. Yeah. Very respectable people. Yeah. And now I'm dating a girl in her early 20s who's good as gold, very mature, more mature than me. Yeah. But obviously she's got friends her age. Yeah. And I look at these girls and she's telling me some of the stories. Yeah. And it makes my skin crawl. Yeah. Like, I used to play games when you come to women. Yeah. But some of these games these women are playing nowadays, and the amount of manipulation and gaslighting.
One thing that I can never shake, no matter how good I do for the community, like I give me 15 grand's worth of toys away with my mate on Christmas Day. We do that every year. I've become known as the best knife crime teacher in the country. I save thousands of kids from suicide every year, and I'm very proud of myself for that. It's taken me a lot to be able to say that, because I don't like saying good things about myself, because I've got a lot of fear for public. Yeah. Because public are the nastiest people. Do you know what I mean? You could be saying the nicest things, you could cure cancer and someone still call you a dickhead. And then you could have 1,000 comments of people saying you're amazing, you saved my son's life, you saved my daughter's life, and one person will say, yeah, but didn't you used to cheat on girls? Didn't you bottle this lad when you're in school? Didn't you fight this guy? And I'm like, well, yeah, he bottled me, I bottled him back, he got battered. I don't go in schools promoting being a waste man or a pussy. Do you know what I mean? Defend yourself when you need to. But that's the one thing I can't shake, is that people always want to bring up your past when they see you doing well. And I think that's the same for everyone, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
People love to hate about something.
Yeah, I mean, people, literally, jealousy now is not just jealousy. Jealousy is an illness, and it's not our fault. It's not you, the viewer's fault. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. It is social media. It's what it's done. We've all got a window into people's lives, and predominantly, I'd say a vast amount of people only promote, 90%, maybe even more, promote the positive side of their lives. Mm-hmm. With me, I promote the good and the bad every single day. Like, if I'm going through a bad day, I'll post it. If I've had something bad happen to me, I'll post it, because I like being connected to my viewers and people who support me. And that's a rarity, I reckon, so I'm quite proud of that as well. Like, even when I got baptised 4 weeks ago, I knew behind my back there's going to be million people slagging me off, saying how's he got baptised, but I truly believe in God. I'd say a prayer nearly every night, not only when I forget or when I'm ill. I say a prayer sometimes on the way to work. I never pray for myself. I always pray for myself at the end of the prayer, and I never do anything selfish. I pray for, you know, people to be safe in war, people, you know, my mum, pray for people that I'm teaching, pray for my friends. It's a hot topic what's going on at the moment, you know, I pray for that. And then I'll say a little prayer for myself, like, please look after me today, or I'm doing this podcast today, can it go well? I'm very, very entwined with my beliefs. Even though I still believe in aliens, and God might be alien, but that made my pastor laugh at me. He said, no, you're welcome to do that, because God might be an alien.
Yeah.
But I knew that people were going to slag me off to the death for that, and I know they have like horrendous things they've said, and it's like, but because I'm so comfortable with who I am now as an adult, I'm like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
But it's mad, innit? You could literally cure cancer, and on Facebook someone would call you an arsehole.
Mate, I've sat here on this table with lads. These lads could be talking about how they've tried to top themselves, or I've tried to top myself.
Yeah.
Someone will comment, your tattoos are awful. Cheers, like, zero relevance to what I'm talking about.
And then you click the profile, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, you still get cut off your boyfriend.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. But again, that's the power of the internet. It's taken away. It's not just a pathway and a gateway for organisations to abuse children, because that's what it is. It's psychological abuse, making them become things that they want them to become, selling us products which are lied to us, like handbags that are 10 grand, and they claim they're made here, but really they're made in a third world country, and they ship back to the country they're sold from, and they stick a label on it, and then it's classed as American made or whatever. All that stuff. The psychological damage, it's made people so jealous, like jealous, I was saying a minute ago. Jealousy now isn't just, you're sort of angry that person's got something. We sort of now do not care about how bad the path was to get that thing that they've got, and we reward people now who do bad to get the things they've got. Like, I know I've got many friends that are, dealers and stuff like that, and you know what I mean? Some of them are really good friends, you know what I mean? They haven't done no wrong to me. And that's just the way the world is. None of us can we can't have friends now that aren't doing things like that. It's impossible. Yeah. And the respect that people have got for them on social media sometimes just makes me put a big smile on my face, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, he's got kids, she's got kids in your local area selling drugs for them and pulling knives out on people and stuff like that. And you look at that person's like Instagram or whatever, and you'd think there was God. Yeah. But then you take a knife off the street, or you feed the homeless, or you do something good. There's many people in Preston that do that. No one gives a shit. You know what I mean?
Just trying to look good.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, look at me now. Ill I am, and we had a party on Friday. 300 people came. 4 months it takes to do this party, and the 15 grand's worth of gifts going around Christmas. And someone on Christmas Day, either to me or to someone else, will say that it's all clickbait, and we're like, we've just given away £15,000 of PlayStation 5s to kids who've got cancer and that. I'm exhausted, I'm knackered. And then I'm doing my own work in between and going to the gym, and then you click that person's profile, and I'm like, still hungover from that before, where? And you're like, fucking hell, this world is messed up. But then once you get your head around that, you can then grow as a person. Yeah. Not saying it's easy, but yeah, this job has definitely made me a better person. But yeah. So anyway, I think we've talked a lot about some good stuff there. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next? What do you want to do?
So we'll go back. Obviously, you growing up.
Yeah.
Mum and dad, good relationship with them. You had everything was fine growing up.
Yeah.
You learned good work ethic, how to be a respectable young lad. Tell me about your brother.
Brother was amazing. We were brought up in the same house. Different dads, but brought up in the same house, and yeah, it was just amazing. He was a geek, a proper geek. Like, he couldn't go to bed. Like, I've got a full bodysuit of tattoos, and it's all a story. So it starts on my left leg. All the films we used to watch, all the computer games, the things he was into. We've got like a torch here because instead of having a night light, he had an obsession with torches. I think because he was scared of the dark, and then obviously as he got older, it just turned into his thing. So yeah, and he was just 100% geek. You know what I mean? Computer games, PlayStation. He always played my computer. I always had the best computer because of my dad, so he'd always play that. We'd have normal holidays, got to punch hell out of each other, baths together like 90s kids, you know, sharing toys. Sometimes you get in my bed when he was scared, you know, normal, literally normal. It was only when you look back how normal it was, and obviously I terrorised him a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, we used to scare him all the time. My mates used to come around, stuff like that. And then the change happened, and it was just so quick. It's so quick. He went to high school, and it was just, he had to wear glasses, stopped wearing his glasses, started stealing my clothes, and it was always my blacked out clothes. Started, you know, trying to rap like I was rapping, so we were following in my footsteps a little bit, but again, I was older than him, so, you know, things were different. And subtly started being bad to my mum, and I thought I was bad to my mum, you know, but I was bad, right? My mum admits this, I was bad, but when I left school when I was about 13ish, 14, I went straight into work. I was working full time, building motorbikes and riding motorbikes and stuff like that, so I was at work most of the time. And I was never in the house. So I think me and my mum argued more about like not making my bed and like staying up too late and like not coming back to early hours in the morning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? I did a lot of bad things in between, and now that I've got older, I realise when your son's riding around on a massive crosser that's so big you have to jump on like, you know, bricks to get on it, and riding around like a lunatic, no wonder she was going mad at me. And the rapping was bad, obviously, because we were from that generation when that first started. So every song she was hearing about me was like on about killing someone and being a bad man and stuff like that. But you know, and yeah, we had a few touch and go moments with that, like. But my mum even says, she went, actually, you was decent because I was working, you know what I mean? And I went off, joined the army, stuff like that, you know what I mean? And made other mistakes and stuff like that. But you know, I was out then. But my brother was just the first era in 2000. I mean, there's famous rappers that actually say that 2005 was the worst year for it all. Many famous rappers have been on many podcasts, and there's a common thing, they say 2005. So if they were saying it was bad in London and that, and Birmingham, God knows, you know what I mean, how bad it really was down there, because we get all our trends from there, don't we? It used to take time to come down, but don't forget now it's speeding up, because we've got the internet, mobile phones, so it's growing like, and as soon as someone releases a song here, and it's 10 times more violent from what we were used to, matter of hours, boom, if you've got this new person's song, no ways if he's just said that. So now the next rapper has to go worse than that. And then that makes the community worse. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. My brother then started hanging around with lads that were much older than him, you know, hence the olders, you know what I mean? That was the first time I properly saw that in my community, you know, that, you know, some of these people I'm going to talk about are like really good family friends now. And JJ's friends, wow, we go out together every year for his anniversary. They're the most funniest, kindest, amazing people. All got their own family, stuff like that. They all learned a lot from JJ's death. And I'll tell you what, he's got the most loyalist friends I've ever met in my life. Every time, you know, it's his anniversary or something, there's tears shed. You know, they are the epitome of what you'd want your mates to be. And he died 11 years ago, and they're exactly the same.
Still there.
Yeah, still there. And obviously some of them have been in prison and stuff like that. Some of them still haven't changed, you know. But what can we do? So I started to see that, but then obviously my mum was ringing me then, it started, and it was a good 2 years of hell. So I'm going to work, going to the gym, thinking, should I try and become a bodybuilder? And I'm like, nah, I'm just going for girls at the moment, you know, I was young and dumb. But it got to the point where it was nearly every night, whereas my mum's screaming and crying, so then that caused so much tension between me and my brother, and he's only
How old was JJ at this
about
point?
13 now. But I was getting told, you know, 13, 14, he's smoking, you know, with his mates, 100 quid's worth of weed a day, if not more. Too. Some people were saying, like, wow, between all them lot, there must be 150, 2 bags a day spent on weed. He's like, how are they affording that? And he was asking my mum for money, and then she wouldn't give it him, and then she started being, mum's quite strict, so she was being strict with him. Then he met a girl, he found out he could sleep at this girl's house, you know, they had different morals than what we did. You know, he got a girl pregnant, this girl, you know, this is his son that he's left behind now. And it was just crazy. It was like, wow, how's this happening for kids so young? And his friends started getting people pregnant and stuff. Like, wow, these kids are young, man. Do you know what I mean? Then, you know, they couldn't go to certain areas because of gang beef, couldn't go to this place because of gang beef, some of his mates. And then obviously, you know, a lot more worse drugs and weed. and he's getting worse and getting worse. It got to the point where I was on a night out and I snuck home and I slept at my mum's house because I was that drunk. I just walked to Deepdale, I forgot. Legitimate reasons. Anyway, I ended up getting in bed and my girlfriend was like, right, I was like, I'm in my brother's bed, like that, I'm asleep. And I woke up and I could hear like screaming up front, and he didn't know I was in bed upstairs, right, because I didn't live there now. And he was on my mum's roof of the car, stamping the roof through because she wouldn't give him 20 quid. This is like early hours in the morning, he was screaming. And it wasn't his fault. It wasn't a young kid smoking some of the most strongest weed you can get, and it affects that front cortex of your brain. Then he's on the street, you know, crying his eyes out. And I remember once I was on the front and we weren't really talking that much then because there was so much arguing. I was like, arguing about him being bad to my mum and telling him to sort his life out. And I became the enemy. Do you know what I mean? And it's weird, and I've grown up, I've seen so many people that have had the same stories, but then they've ended up becoming friends with a brother. Yeah. Eventually, you know what I mean? And so it's sad, really. You know, we had it stolen from us because of weed and the circumstances. And again, now that I'm older, I can realise they're all dressing the same, acting the same, shopping at the same places, doing the same stuff. They're all literally psychologically been abused by these organisations. It's crazy, and it's happened everywhere. So then it ran up to the first time he got stabbed, and I remember actually my mum ringing me, crying her eyes out, you know what I mean, saying he's going to get stabbed, something's going to happen, and I remember I went mad, he's going to get stabbed. And then a couple of days later, I was in my kitchen making my meal. No, I was at home at my mum's house, and there's the most biggest bang on the door, like someone were kicking the door through, and the bedroom window open. I'm playing Call of Duty. I ran to the window, went outside the window, and his mate's going, "Oh my God, he's been stabbed!" All this stuff, shouting, he's going to die, blah blah blah. Where's his mum? So I'm running down the street, we're all like shouting at each other. I remember shouting to his mates, "It's your fucking fault, it's your fault, I told you this was all going to happen, the way you're acting, you'll think you're fucking gangsters." Obviously it's not their fault, is it? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Running down the street, anyway, I could see a police officer in the front of the ambulance and the door was open. So I jumped in the front, he said, shut the door, and the paramedic was here through the window, shouting at him. There's a sequence to turning the lights on in an ambulance. It's not just you press one button, you've got to do, because different lights, different events, fire, could be whatever. Anyway, she's going, press that, and then he, boof, on the horn, and it kicks off then. And we're driving. Anyway, I turn around, look through the little window, and I put my knees onto the seat, and obviously I saw it with my brother, and there was a belt wrapped around his leg, holding his leg on, been stabbed 24 times. His arm was like nearly like severed off, you know, his back had been hit, it broke apart of his spine. And obviously I'm shouting at him, "You're going to be okay, you're going to see mum again, don't worry about it, keep breathing it." Every now and again he'd look up like that, and he was like a pale white/grey in agony, agony. So now, you've gone from hearing about it in the news, but now you're hearing what it sounds like. So you go through all that experience, you get out of the ambulance, I went round to the back, they pulled his body out, he's screaming and stuff, and he's like, at this point it changed, it's a different type of scream and stuff like that. You could tell he was petrified. He'd go off into the trauma ward and then he'd leave you. You've got no one to help you.
Yeah.
So you walk into reception, you sat in these horrible seats, don't forget, just with everyone else, like who could have been like on drugs or had a fight or whatever, you're looking around like that, and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, my brother's just been chopped up, you know what I mean? And you could sort of hear in the next sort of room people screaming and loads of pandemonium going on. I'm sat there thinking, what am I going to tell my mum, what am I going to tell my mum, what am I going to tell my mum, man, what am I going to tell my mum, what am I going to tell his dad? Do you know what I mean? All this kind of stuff. And then a taxi skidded out. I remember hearing the taxi go like that. And then my mum ran in and she sat down next to me and I was like, "Yeah, just JJ, he's been stabbed." And she's like, "Oh God." Talking about like harming herself, praying to God. Never heard my mum talk like this before. She was so scared. You know what I mean? I mean, I've just told you the first event in such a way that it's easy to talk about, and it's just easy because I do it as a job, but it's just quick. I've missed out all the times. My mum's rang me about 500 times in between crying, upset about him, in tears, even when he's not done anything, worried about him, driving around to pick him up from places he got stuck from. He literally ran my mum ragged for about 2 years straight. You know what I mean?
What's the circumstances of him getting stabbed?
So there's many different bloody stories about it, but like top and bottom is they had a rival group of people they had beef with because of the drugs and stuff like that, and rival areas, and then someone got bit by a dog and it nearly killed the lad. something like that. You know what I mean? And anyway, JJ was on the street corner. They'd come off the park, these lads, and they'd seen him and they'd stabbed him 24 times. It caused 24 different injuries. And that was the reasoning behind it, again, because of the circumstances. You know, like when we were kids, when we were 14, no, you know, if people ran off the park, you know, we were playing kick can, knock a door, run. Oh, you're right, mate, you come with us, get on your bike, come with us.
Yeah.
But now, in children's lives, to be popular in school, it was smoking weed, selling weed, being a gangster. Do you see the difference? But it was so subtle that people didn't feel it, because it was like mobile phone, Bluetooth, the camera, and then, like I said earlier, that, you know, the music, and then the clothing, you know. And now, in the space of 3 years, from 2002 to 2005, the difference was just astronomical already. And then obviously he went to school, and then that was it, you know. And in between that as well, he was like, I think he lasted till year 8, and middle of year 8, and he was kicked out of like 5 high schools. So he's not going to high school. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's smoking weed, selling weed to people. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And it's like, I'm like, yo, this ain't a normal child. It was so, what would you call it? So different from my childhood. You couldn't even compare them. But it was happening in every single area. You know what I mean? And I was seeing it, and I was feeling it. I knew it was happening. And I was just like, wow. But anyway, by a miracle, we sat there for about an hour, which was like, that hour felt like 10 weeks. Because obviously mum was in so much, you know, pain. And his surgeon, I think it was a surgeon, came out in his lab coat kind of thing, and just went, I sort of never forget what he said, but it's so fuzzy now. But I remember he was very disappointed, and he didn't sound happy. I don't think surgeons are meant to sound happy, because you want them to be serious. And he was like, look, your son's alive, you can go see him tomorrow. How he's alive is a miracle, you know what I mean? It looks like a great white shark spitting his body to pieces. It's just a miracle. You need to stress to him how he's alive. He's insane. He's insane. That's it. You know what I mean? So I went to see him the next day, and this is the next thing that you don't see on the news, is then you hear the pain. You'd think, like, when, you know, you watch enough films, again, it's all manipulation. You'd think you walk into a room with flowers and you'd hear that, doot.
Yeah.
Doot.
And that's it.
Yeah, you see what I mean? You've got a scene in your head, haven't you? And then, you know, you'd be holding his hand going, you're going to be okay. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so happy. You know, in the film, the girl's been shot 3 times and she's still managing to talk, you know what I mean? But I walked in and it was screaming. They were like, be prepared. You know, when we were in the elevator going up, there was like, he's in a lot of pain. And it was, wow, he had this little clicker. And he had an Evian 1.5 litre bottle sized of morphine injected into his body, and he were clicking it. I'm sure he were asking to be put to sleep. He wanted to go to sleep, you know, every time he moved. Again, it was so much to take on board. And then, you know, as the days went on, we started having a conversation. We started joking about the dogs, you know, because I had a dog and a cat, and he thought the cat was better than a dog. You know, these are the first times in 2 years we've managed to have a little bit of a giggle, a little bit of a laugh. And we're all smiling and stuff like that. And I thought, you know what, this might be the best thing that's ever happened to him. And then my mum told me that when he woke up, one of the first things he said to her, I don't know, it's a conversation between him and my mum. It's very personal. But she actually said that it gave her the impression of what he said along the lines of how scared he was of dying. And he was petrified. It scared him. And then 2 weeks later, he checked himself out of hospital. I remember my mum ringing me saying the doctors are saying you need to stay. And he's like, nah, I'm going out. And then I used to see him walking around with a crutch. And I was like, bro, what are you doing? He was like, oh, I'm not asked, mate. I'm not asked. A couple of weeks later, mum started ringing me again. I'm like, oh, here we go. She's like, yeah. I'm like, all right. What's happening? I'm like, no. He's just not arguing with me anymore. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, he's coming in, doing his thing. He's chilled. He's coming out. Next phone call. You never guess what? What? She went, I mean, it's not like nothing major, but he's got a job. I was like, eh? Then there was pictures of him, you know, falling asleep at work, and then, what's going on? Then you bump into police officers and they go, bloody hell, your brother's changed. They'd be like, you know what I mean? Like, I think one police officer said they've never seen a kid change so much.
I suppose getting stabbed 24 times would change you, wouldn't
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
These are the things people don't know. And then, like the main thing, like I remember once I was getting a haircut, and I changed my barber. It was cash only, And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be late. So I looked out when he was just walking down the street on a summer's day and I said, yo, JJ, what? One sec. I went up to him and said, bro, lend me 20 quid, mate. And he thought about it for a sec, because remember, we used to have beef, you know what I mean? But only family beef. You'd think if you listen to people that we hated each other, we were just brotherly hate.
Yeah.
And he went, yeah, there you go. I'm like, Sam, I'll give it you back. Anyway, so I went and got my haircut. And right, honest to God, was probably one of the nicest things he ever did to me as a teenager. You know, lend me 20 quid, right, even ask him. You know what I mean? I'm missing out loads of me. Like, I know for a fact he stole a gold chain that was worth like $2,000 off me and all sorts that I left on the side that my mum gave me when I was like 14. Do you know what I mean? My mum had it for years. It was like a family heirloom kind of thing. You know, I knew things, you know, there's loads of things I'm missing out, you know what I mean? But yeah, all was forgiven. And then I saw him a few days later. I go, I've got you 20 quid. I gave him 20 quid. And then I see him riding past on his bike when we're crossing. I go, yo. And he go, like that, and nodded at me and stuff like that. So the relationship was mending. And then the police obviously saying he changed, and you know, people saying he changed and stuff. And life went on. And honestly, that last year of his life, all was forgiven. And I honestly, truly believe that he'd done it. He'd made the change, you know what I mean? And then sadly, literally just over a year later, he turned 18 and he was stabbed again. Yeah, because his mates, some of his mates did something. So, you know, in a nutshell, mates robbed someone, rival group of people. They already had tension anyway. Things that I'd never say on camera because it affects like parts of the other family and other people and stuff like that. But you know, there was tensions going on, what this gang were doing, where they were going, where they were getting access to. Which again we only learned years later. It caused more drama between these groups of people. Then obviously JJ's mates went and did something to them. And went to they went to the person's house, did something to a family member. You know, these are just like the stories. And then obviously it got to the boiling point. 2 cars were purchased, and then it was so weird as well, right? So weird because a couple of days before, I was in my kitchen in my flat, so I had a flat then. I'm looking out the window and my flat bulb had gone and I couldn't change it because it was a special type of bulb. So I was waiting for the council to come and change it. So I had to wash up in the dark. And I'm washing up, and then these 3 lads, like 3 or 4 lads, can't remember, bikes ballied up, went past my window and I went, where are they going? Turns out, they are my brother's mates who went down my street to where one of my brother's killers used to leave, that I used to see often, and he used to say my brother was sound, he had no beef with my brother, because I remember pulling him once and said, yo, what's going on with you, my brother? I've been told there's beef. And he was like, nah, trust me, your brother's sound, innit? It's this person he's hanging around with, this one specific person, or a couple others. Trust me, he's sound. I just don't understand why he's hanging around with them and all that lot, you know what I mean? I don't get it. But again, as we grew up, we realised there was a lot more going on than that, and they were lying to me. Anyway, I didn't know these lads went past on a bike, and that's when they did something to one of the family members that night, my brother's mates. Then the coincidental thing is, when these lads then had enough, my house is here, and you could run past my front door, jump over a fence onto the main road here, and there were 2 cars parked up. My mum come to see me, it was pitch black, she parked up in the car park, she went, you're not in? I said, I'm at the gym. She went, oh, I'll wait for you. I went, right, so I'm on my way off in the gym, and then my mum ran me, she went, oh my God, about 4, 5, 7 lads or whatever just ran past your house, jumped over the fence and got in 2 cars. She went, bloody hell, it's mad round here, innit? I went, yeah, it's probably over than that or whatever. I said, they're probably doing whatever. Not realising my mum had just seen the lads and people running to get into the murder vehicles, driving to hunt down my brother's friends.
Yeah.
How mad's that?
Yeah.
So we're a part of the process, we saw it, and we never knew. Anyway, so I come home that night, it got too late, she drove home, and then it's my last meal. I'm training now to be a bodybuilder. Finding it hard, not knowing if I can do it. I had full-time work, stuff like that. And I'm just making my last meal. It's about 11:45, 11:55, because he left the pub about 11:35. And my brother had left the pub, he left like half a pint of beer, ended up walking home with this girl. He's going to his dad's, I think he was, just round the corner. He turned the corner and by accident, the 2 cars were communicating via WhatsApp and social media, you know, asking, you know, looking for who they were looking for. Basically, coincidentally, they saw my brother and they just went get him instead because they couldn't find who they were looking for. Ended up chasing him in and out of cars. He ended up fighting with a few of them, you know, battling them, trying to get away from them. The girl screaming, and he got stuck in between two cars. And the lad, one of the main lads, hit him so hard in the neck, well, the bit in the face and the neck with a sword, a katana. It broke his carotid artery, his jugular, broke his neck, and then his head was sort of hanging off to the side. So that's why it's classed as decapitation. So he lost enough blood to die in around 45 seconds, and then he stabbed his body and just kept stabbing his body as they were on the floor. So his actual death is called joint enterprise. He's guilty by association. Mm-hmm. So he died because of his friends, yeah. And we train that law in schools because it is mental how many people get killed because of lyrics the mates have said in songs, or something that the mate has done in their group of friends, and they're walking home from the pub and they're getting stabbed up, you know what I mean? They're in town now, they're enjoying, they're 18 now, like, oh my God, this is what it's like going on nights out, pulling girls, it's more fun this. And they realise that the rival ops, the rival gang members, now they're 18, they're going out and they're in the nightclub just trying to enjoy themselves, pull girls. And who did he see? The rival enemy across the bar. Now they're all coked up, now they're all ketted up, now they're all ready for it. Next minute lads are getting stabbed up outside nightclubs, which we see all the time, don't we? You know, I mean, this is the thing, innit? Then what happens then? These kids then who are already living in this toxic world then end up becoming parents. So yeah, so in the space of just over a year, it was something like that. Or some people have said, I've met paramedics and that. Some people have said it could be 50 plus. Some people had 60 times, you know, stabbed, you know, and died. Yeah, crazy, isn't it?
So he was obviously stabbed the first time,
yeah.
23, 24 times. Changed his life around.
Mm-hmm.
Still had his associates, but...
Yeah, still smoked weed. He was the same person. You know, same person, but he just, for me, obviously people from an outside perspective might see him with the same people and that, and not see him going to work and that, because I was in his part of his life. Yeah. He just stopped. I don't think in the year he was alive after that, my mum had one argument with him. You know what I mean? He went on his first trip with my mum, with a baby, to Blackpool, and he'd never done that before. I remember my mum ringing me and bragging, saying, you never guess what? And what? She went, he's like, going to be taking Blackpool. I went, nah, no way. She went, yeah, honestly, I'm going to take him, his kid and his girlfriend at the time, before they broke up, to Blackpool on a day trip. And there's pictures that I used of him. I told the last ever pictures my mum ever had with him. And they're both like having a joke. She's like trying to put a brolly down his neck and he's laughing and he's smiling. We can still see he's in that teenage, I can't believe I'm having a photo of him. I think one he's like that, you know, and one he's trying to act a bit cool but he's smiling. But these pictures, you know, I believe in God, he's looking down, you know, I bet he regrets not having more of her.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And yeah, they're the last ever pictures, and then again, like I say, my mum ringing me and going, I've WhatsApped you some pictures, look, you let me have pictures with him, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he'll never know that.
Mm-hmm. So the beef his friends had with his murderers.
And he was part of it. But again, there's other things, factors that I don't mention on podcasts, other things that these lads, other people they were associating with, which made the tensions between my brother personally escalate behind the scenes, which again we only learned after the death.
Okay.
But predominantly, you know, you mix all them together. Just two groups of young lads, all young, and again I knew my brother's killers. I bump into them, I used to speak to them. Harmless, just normal lads, brainwashed into being gangsters.
You all are harmless on their own, aren't they?
Yeah.
When they're together.
Yeah. I mean, I remember that day when I went, oh, yo, he jumped out of a taxi. And I went over and I said, what's going on, lads? And I was like, nah, no. He was like, yo, what's happening, G? No, it's not your brother, no. And a matter of days later, they killed him. Do you know what I mean? In a gang of like 9 people in cars.
How was it for you knowing your brother was murdered in such a horrific way?
I think that's what made it even worse, because there's no words that'll explain what it's like being sat on a bed, the world's judging you, there's people saying like, live by the sword, die by the sword. There was nothing, my brother never carried a knife. All his mates have said he's never carried a knife. You know what I mean? He smoked weed and got brainwashed. Just like all these kids do. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? No one ever says, hang on, why are all these kids shopping at JD? Hang on, why are all these kids acting like... No one ever says that. Everyone always says, now hot topic is Andrew Tate, like we've already discussed. Mm-hmm. No, it's weird. It's like, we've got, in modern day society, people who can use their brain to its full extent and actually go, oh, I don't like that, but I like what he said there. I like that, but I don't like what he said there. Let's find a common ground, meet halfway, because that's what people do. It's how we grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you've got the people that have taken to social media so well that the propaganda, manipulation, and brainwashing is literally like what you see in a sci-fi film. They don't believe anything, bro. Anything. So, you know, you've got all that going on, and there was people sending me videos of people having people's heads chainsawed off and saying, ha ha ha, this is your brother. And I'm sat on my bed, I'm crying so much. I remember my jaw here, my cheeks, and weirdly here was like, felt like it was bruised because I was crying so much. And then, you know, police in the house, you know, paparazzi. I could only have like a week off work because it's, again, even my job, they didn't pay me. You know what I mean? Like, you'd think my job would pay me, wouldn't you? No sympathy there. Got a pat on the back, went back like no it ever happened. You know what I mean? And then like trying to live normal life for years was mental. It was mental because literally you could have like a week of like healing and getting there and having a good week, and I'm in the gym, you know what I mean? I'll talk about that in a second. And then next week, boom, you'll get a fake account saying, hi, your brother don't deserve to die. Or for a lot of time we got, you didn't even like your brother, you hated him. Your brother hated you. People actually say your brother hated you. And I'd be like, yeah, because we used to fight. And I'd ask people, I go, you got a brother, ain't you? I go, you used to fight when you was a kid? And like my mates would go, fight? We used to punch each other's heads in. I've got mates who's like knocked the brother's teeth out and now they're best mates. I'm like, so this is normal? I'm like, yeah. And what happened with your brother? I said, oh, we're smoking weed and stamping on my roof of my mum's car. And they go, oh my God, I'd twat him as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I'm like, why these? But the people would try and find absolutely any way physically possible to discredit me or show hatred towards me. If like a news channel came around and wanted to speak to me or something, as soon as he saw me on TV, whether I'm crying, I'm talking about my PTSD and whatever, they'd find anything to discredit me. It was crazy. I quite quickly learned that your biggest fans are the people who aren't your mates, people who don't know you. Strangers. And that went on for years and years. Still happens now, but it's just I've become a little bit more resilient to it, and now I teach about it. And then obviously like the gym part is like, I mean, it was like 4 or 5 hours after my brother was killed when I was sat in my front room, my mum's screaming on the sofa, and a police officer came around called Eddie Thistlethwaite, very good family friend. He's actually left the police now. My brother was like one of the last cases he ever did. He won like the highest award you can ever win for police officer, and he proved to me for the first ever time, and amongst other police officers, like 2 women who became like family friends, that police officers, there are some out there which, Jesus Christ, you do not want them after you. They are like what you see on TV, serious. But then you do get the Muppets, yeah. But that's the way of life, yeah. But for every good police officer, there's every 1,000 good police officers, there's one bad one. And then the news, again, propaganda, only shows the bad ones.
Of course,
because we've got to have someone to blame. And that's another lesson. Anyway, and he went, what are you doing? And I was sat there miserable, and he looked at me, leant forward. He's quite an intimidating man. You know, he worked with murderers, killers his whole life, and he went, go to the gym now, like that. And he just went, get up and go to the gym. So I went to the gym. Yeah, I was crying throughout the whole session, and my friend came round. God, man, I should remember his name. Oh my God, I forgot his name. Anyway, my friend came over to me, James Linney, and I only told him this years later, and no one in the gym dared come near me, and he walked up to me and didn't say no. He gave me a hug. He went, you know where I am? And that hug got me through the session. And then I went the next day. Then the bodybuilding became easy. And people started looking at me going, Jesus Christ, man, you're in good shape, you. Then people started coming to me, can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? Can you help me do this? Then I did my level 3 PT and anatomy and physiology, and it was one of the most hardest things to ever learn, anatomy and physiology, but I passed it like 6 weeks before everyone else. So then I became known as the gym guy, you know, the gym guy of a murdered brother. And then I did 6 years with no PTSD help. That was the next step. In between then, obviously, I won all my trophies that I wanted to win, like NABA Northwest Champion, British Champion, Mr. Southport. And I'm not saying it was all good, you know what I mean? I did a lot of bad things, cheating on girls, being horrible, cocaine, alcohol, cheating and getting attention off anyone I could physically get attention of fulfilled my broken ego. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Egos can be a very bad thing. They can be bad of you, and it's only the last 4 or 5 years I've had the death of my ego, where now I don't really care. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's a very important thing. At some point in your life, everyone has the death of their ego, and you've still got to have a part of your ego, because obviously that gives you, you know, like push and drive. But once you come to that point where you're just like, oh, I'm not really asked if you like me or not, you know what I mean? I'm a geek, I'm at heart, I like a chav, like a Robbie Nana, but I'm sound as out, do you know what I mean? I'm proud of myself. And that took me a lot of learning. And then the suicide attempt, sat on my bed, and again I met a lad who's one of my best mates now, still to this day, and he came round. It was so part of the reason why I don't believe in coincidence and fate. Already met him a couple of nights before, didn't even like him. I don't think a few of us didn't like him. We were like, does he think he is him? He's like, I'm a football hooligan. And mate, he literally just came round, he looked through the crack of my window, saw I was on my bed crying, basically came straight through my door, bollocked me, had a knife in hand, put it on the bed like that, told him what I was going to do. He packed my gym bag, I don't think I didn't like him. I took him to the gym, he saved my life. And I went, why'd you come round? He went, I don't know why, I was just at my nana's house. And I thought, he don't sound right. I'm going to go over and check on him. I didn't know him.
Yeah.
Know him. Do you know what I mean? And then started winning the bodybuilding competitions. And then all of a sudden one day, you know, I remember, honestly, it's not a joke, it's not a lie. Every single job I did, even if I failed at the job, even if I became good at the job, there was always a brief moment where I go, my inner conscience would say, this isn't right what you're doing, but keep doing it, you're on the right path. And I can't explain it. Some days it was so hard because I just wanted to quit the job because I hated it, and I felt like I was built for bigger things. I always felt like I was built for bigger things. And anyway, I got asked to do this talk by a good friend, a boxer, at a gym where Bugsy Malone trains. So I went, I wrote this little speech on a piece of like A4 paper in the back of this guy's car, went and did it. And people started crying and stuff like that. Did a few interviews, sports, like, you know, it's like a podcast but for TV.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, I had a little iWatch on, and a reporter at the end came up to me. Anyway, and he still talks about me now every now and again, and goes like, you know what I mean, oh, there's this guy, you know what I mean, there's been times where people have messaged me going, oh, he just mentioned you on TV. And I remember he looked at me and we watched like that. And I went, hey mate, he went, hey, we're off now, Byron. I just want to ask you something, how long have you been a knife crime teacher for? And I went, about 15 minutes, bro. He went, you should do this as a job. He said, that was one of the best speeches I've ever heard. And I thought, all right, no worries. Anyway, that was it. Thought note of it. So, and then that came on TV, and again, come a whole array of, you're a dickhead, you're an arsehole, you're a prick, you're a cunt, haha, your brother died, he didn't like you, he hated you. And I was like, all right, no worries, usual shit, making my life feel like shit. And then I got asked to do it again, and then again, and then again, and then my boss was just like, you know, you're gonna end up losing. I need you. What choice you're making? So I told the company, told my mate. He had a word with the boss, and he agreed to like pay me something ridiculous. It was not even enough to live, let alone drive to Manchester every day. But I did it because I had this passion of speaking to people. Was kind of easy.
Yeah.
And I think being half naked on stage was my last ever preparation. You know, I'd done anatomy and physiology. I was a combat medic when I went and I joined the army. You know, they helped me do that. I'd watched people die in car crashes. My brother had died. I'd been in an ambulance, watched him die. I'd had a tremendous amounts of attacks. It was like, honest to God, everything in my life, and I'm even being serious from the day I was born, every bit of my childhood, like my dad training, learning me out about films, and everything I did, ups and downs, everything led to that moment. So then when, in a nutshell, after working there for about 3 months, they rung me and said, we're going to make you boss a knife crime. I said, right, I want to make my own version of this presentation, because we used to share one with the guys that they made, and I was editing it and making it better and stuff like that. And then they said, what's the point, just make your own. So I said, mate, I asked for a laptop, they gave me a laptop, and I made the JJ Effect logo myself on like PowerPoint or something, do you know what I mean? And then I remember being at home, and then a police officer, there was word of us getting like £25,000 funding. So everyone was uproar, we went out, celebrated as a company. And then I went to this BBC show, did this like live show, and we got invited as a guest, to be like a guest at like a play for knife crime. And then he went, and I want to announce that Byron Highton's here. This knife crime teacher's doing amazing things, bright future, we can see it in him, blah, blah, blah. And everyone clapped for me, and I was like, this is crazy. I'm only talking about my life, my experience. And then after that, we walked outside, and the police went, oh, you come here. And I walked over and went, no, come here by yourself. So I went over, and he went, you need to make your own logo. You need to make your own company, mate. That's all we're telling you. Do it. So I met other police officers that were on my side, that they were helping me for years. After JJ Effect was created, the original the proper JJ Effect, years, still messaging and ringing me every now and again. They've still been able to get a phone call or an email saying, we're proud of you, we knew. And I suppose the last piece of the puzzle was, because now I had it implanted in my head that I was onto something. A woman who worked with the Manchester Bombers, she came into the office, very powerful woman, and I thought she hated me. And we've had many jokes about this. And it was my turn to have like a review with her. And everyone's review was like, 20 minutes long, that's it. And I went in, and I was in there for like an hour and a half, and to the point where people were knocking at the door saying, come on, what's going on, like, you know what I mean? And she was like, no, shut the door. And I remember saying to her, I said, you don't like me, I just don't know why. She went, don't like you. She went, I've been watching you. And she basically said, honest to God, people think this is crazy, because this is the first podcast I've done in quite a while, because I've been so busy. And she went, you're going to change knife crime, you're going to change how it's done, you're going to become the best in the country. And she planned out everything that's happened, like she was Mystic Meg. And I went, nah. She went, you watch, I've seen your presentation. If you keep on that path and keep doing where you're going, you're going to do something, it's going to change everything. Anyway, the company went bust because of COVID, stuff like that. And I thought COVID was going to be the worst experience of my life. But it turned out that a couple of days into COVID, the police rung me and went, have you left? I went, yeah. She went, have you set your business up? Have you got your logo? And I was like, yeah, I've been doing it over the last few days. I'll send it to you. I've got the first go. I wanted mine to be blood go, making people pass out. That was part of my invention. Not caring what people said. Not caring if a parent goes, oh my God, you made my daughter cry at night. I've got, ask her if she'll carry a knife. Oh, will you carry a knife? Then I get an email back. Oh, I'm so sorry. Actually, you've done your job. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then I had this idea of the JJ Effect experience, taking manipulation, brainwashing and propaganda, changing my name. So when you watch the JJ Effect, this slide comes up, we warn them, and I read them the warning, saying, warning, you might pass out, stuff like that, giving them the option to leave and stuff. And at the bottom it says the power of manipulation. And I say, now you're about to go through the power. Basically, I explain to them it's a test, but you're going to go through the power of manipulation. But in that writing, it says, please listen to all advice and rules stated by our staff. Hello everyone, my name's Danny, nice to meet you. Please don't call me sir, because it makes me feel old and everyone laughs. But don't forget, these could be working professionals. And they'll go, all right Danny, all right, no worries, like that. Then at the very end of the presentation, my presentation takes 2 hours, because we teach about so many things. At the very end of the presentation, like the last 3 minutes, I walk onto the screen and everyone sees that it's actually me, that I'm his brother. In a 2-hour presentation, we only talk about my brother for 14 minutes.
Yeah.
That's all, because we don't need to. Literally, the last part, JJ's not mentioned, the last 14 minutes there, even less, we speak about him, because his death was that crazy and that insane. We don't actually need to talk about him. So we're not using my brother's death to get the message across. I'm using my teaching methods. And at the end, then everyone goes, oh my God. And even working professionals go, so your name's Byron? All that was about your brother. Your name's not Danny. And I'll go, now you imagine if I had the budget of the music industry. Yeah, it's to prove that manipulation is so easy.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And then fast forward all these years later, when you add it all together, I've been doing it for 8 years. And then the results went from like, that was good, to that was the best presentation I've ever seen. Then the BBC come in and other reporters from around the world and other people from other reporters from other countries that come in and saying, we heard about you, we need to speak to you. And then came the results of, oh, like, this kid's not going to kill themselves because of you. And I was like, kill themselves? I don't do knife crime. And then the suicide bit was implemented because that's a part of knife crime and what's going on. Fast forward all these years, and I've seen hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, and people actually email me now specifically wanting me to make kids throw up and pass out and adults. When I first started, it was unheard of.
Yeah.
So some of my emails are insane.
Yeah, it's proven for it works, so isn't it? So.
Yeah, because what's the point? You got to look at it this way. If your kid, son or daughter, whatever, only ever sees one knife crime presentation in primary school, high school, college or university out of the whole, time when they're in education, if you're lucky enough and they do go college and university, they only ever see one knife crime presentation, right? Or suicide presentation, or county lines, or criminal exploitation. But then they leave the presentation like they do nearly 100% of the time, going, "Oh shit, that. Why do you have to listen to that guy, man?" And that's probably one of the hardest parts about my job now. My uniform is chav. That's who I am, it's part of my process. And I'm sat there in reception or in the hall, and the kids will be looking at me like I'm just a PE teacher or something, because I'm in shorts, I'm full of tattoos or whatever, and I can hear them. And I've been to the toilet, and they don't know I'm in the toilet. I can hear them going, "As if we're being forced to watch knife crime again. Do you remember that last dickhead that come, that guy? And he was like a gangster, and he stabbed someone," and I can hear him. And then they were going like, "Yo, remember that police officer came in? Fuck, my God, 2 hours." And I'm like, then I'm in the hall with these 500 to 1,000 kids, if not more. And my job, even before I started, is hard because all the kids are sat there going, "This is going to be boring." 2 hours. And within 5 minutes, I go, "Saturday Muppets," and they'll go, "What?" I go, "This ain't no shit presentation." They'll go, "Whoa, he just said the word shit. What's going on?" I said, "Listen, I ain't no gangster, I ain't no this, I'm just a normal chav, big up your nana." And you'll go like, "Whoa, what the hell? He's speaking like us." And the teachers now who employed me are all going, "Yes." But the teachers who don't like me, the woke teachers, are going, "Ooh," like that. And within 5 minutes, everyone's laughing and everyone's crying and everyone's falling off the edge of the seats and they're all pinned in and they're all like, and the next minute someone will throw up, and it makes it even worse now. They're all going, "Whoa, what's going on here?" Before you know it, end of presentation, everyone's like coming up to me begging for pictures. And again, that's another thing that happened, like kids wanting to take photos of me, and I'm like, "What's going on?" Like, I'm just a knife crime teacher. But it's all a part of the process. It was like living proof in front of the teachers that if we're actual open and honest with kids and don't lie to them, and we compare the content we're trying to teach them to the content they're actually viewing on the mobile phones. For example, if a kid is watching paedophiles get their genitals bit off, people jumping out of Twin Towers and watching the body splat on the floor, people getting run over by trains, but yet we can't swear in an assembly. Eh?
Yeah.
Eh? Are you mad? Like that? It's like, we're going to train toxic masculinity in schools against Andrew Tate. It's like, so why are we not doing lessons about the damage of OnlyFans? There has to be, and again, back to being a conspiracy theorist, school has never changed, because I train teachers now. I've been doing that for years, by the way. And like one of the common things that normal teachers will say, "Yeah, you are right. Like even when we went to school in the 70s or 80s, it's the same principle. Yeah. Nothing's ever changed." And it begs the question as to why. The same as, you've seen Australia ban social media to 16. Mate, with our brief conversation we had, what we were like with girls and drugs and that, mate, at 16 I know for a fact I was not responsible enough to have social media.
Yeah.
I think every person should have the opportunity to go through primary school, high school, and then at least 16 to 21, because some college courses can be 4 years and a university degree can be 4 years. So that gives them enough time in between to not be influenced by outer organisations. So they can naturally choose, I'm going to go to college for all these courses 3 years, and then I might want to go to university, and that'll take me up to around the age of 20. And then 21 is when we should be allowed to use social media, because then we can influence them into what we want to do, because then they've grown up enough to be comfortable in the skin a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not looking at girls with this mad makeup on and going, "I'm ugly." But for some unknown reason, everyone's brainwashed into thinking it's 16.
Mate, I agree. I literally put a clip out 2 days ago, me talking about the social media lifestyle. People are seeing it, what people's life should be, what they want, and it's... You never see what's actually behind all that.
Yeah.
Although if it ain't fake, it's not built overnight.
Yeah, I get like for me, if we're talking personal, like, you know, people go, "Oh God, do you change your car every year? You must be minted." I go, "No, I've like had a job since I was 13. I've not got any CCJs. I use my own private finance company." I go, "What?" I go, "Well, please tell me you don't go to the dealer still after finding out what they did to us. We're ripping us off, you know, all this like, you know, like the PPI and stuff in the cars." I'm like, you still, and it blows people's minds, and they go, "What?" And the amount of people I've put onto this company, you ring them, they go, yeah, no, you come straight to us. So you're basically skipping out that dodgy bald man in a fucking car dealership going, "I'll get you the best deal."
Yeah.
And then they're lying to you. And she goes, yeah, what price did the dealership say? I'll say that. She go, "Right, we know you've got a brilliant credit score. You don't even need, she'll go, press enter, she'll go, enter. Boom, yeah, you've passed. I think I'm on my sixth car now with this woman. I always go to the same woman, big up. And so I've been accepted for car finance and I've only been on the phone for 5 minutes. And she'll go, "Right, so the garage is quoting 680 quid. Oh yeah, she'll go, "Well, we can get it for your 4/6 car, 435. So I'm driving around now in a 40 grand car. I'll have to change it next summer. Cost me like 430 quid. I know people that have got courses and because they've got bad credit, they're paying 380 quid.
Yeah.
And the people will go, "Oh, we thought you were minted." I'll go, no, I'm not stupid. And they'll go, "All right, well, someone told me you was minted." And I'll go, "No, I'm not minted, mate." I'm like, but again, it's the social media. It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is what it is. People say you got shit tattoos. I love tattoos. I love your tattoos. It's a massive thing of your personality. And people say the same to me. You know, like, "And tattoos not affect your job?" I go, "No, it's funny that, because I'm like one of the busiest teachers in the country." "You're a teacher?" "Yeah, I know. I look like I shot heroin and crack, but I'm actually sound." And they'll go, "Oh no, my God!" Then their opinion will change, and I'm like, "How? But it's 2025. Do you not feel like we're going backwards?"
Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just the way society is. They're just judging immediately.
But it's the way society shouldn't be.
Yeah, of course.
And to fix this right now, this is how it works. So say like right now, government went, "Right, social media has been banned till 21. We actually wouldn't save anyone, or we would, but the effects won't be seen yet." So like, say someone who's in year 7 who's only had a mobile phone for like a couple of months, they still might fall victim because everyone in their school has been consuming bad, toxic content. We wouldn't just have to ban mobile phones, don't forget. And not ban mobile phones, obviously you can't do that for safety, but the access to Google and stuff and social media. What we'd have to ban at the same time, is what people don't understand, is violent content. Because if they're still getting violent content, it's sad to say this, it's horrible, but it's not your fault or my fault. We would have to ban social media. For this to actually have catastrophic effects, we have to ban social media till 21, ban Call of Duty in that till 21, yeah? And I know that's daft because it goes against everything I stand for.
Yeah.
And then we'd have to make sure that the music industry was told, and the clothing industry, that's it now. Or you'll have to ban them 4 things at the same time until kids are 21 and say, "Look, you're not allowed to sponsor gangster rappers no more. Stop selling ballies." We'd have to make it so when shops got caught selling vapes, they wouldn't just get a slap on the wrist and the shop shut. They got banned entirely from opening another business.
Yeah.
So we made, for example, if a shop got caught selling a knife, they don't get a massive fine. They go, boom, the shop's shut. Every organisation that you own is getting shut. We have to make it so crazy that people go, "Why ain't fucking with British kids anymore?" You know what I mean? But the thing is then, you don't think about the year 7 high school kids, you think about the kids that are in year 1 in primary school. Because then by the time they finish high school, their life will be factory reset to what it was like. Because the kid will go, "What do I do at weekend?" "Oh, well, I'm going to go and play." No, I'm not saying ban all games. They'll be able to play Tomb Raider, normal games, Roblox, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? As long as it was safe. But then they go, "Hang on, let's go and build a rope swing." And you'd see parks fill up again. And things would change over, so 5 years. It'd probably take about 10 years. But just think how much female pre-pubescent teenage suicide would stop. How much gang beef. Stopping lads from rapping about other lads in other areas. Before you know it, that 1-year-old is now hanging around with other kids in other schools, and they're like, Yeah, where you from? Or from this area, where you from? From that area? Oh, Sam, what's that down there? Do you want to meet up at weekend? Instead of saying, you can't come round here, bro.
Yeah.
So the effects would be
of course.
massive. But I think you hit the nail on the head before. It's like, it's money, it's the power politically it has.
Which you have to look at as well, like these rappers, these gangster rappers, they are talking about stabbing people, skiddy skid beep bop and all that stuff, But you can go on social media and talk about shutting a hotel down or hope you all drowned.
Yeah.
And you're getting banged up for 18 months.
Yeah, it's mad.
And then these lads are talking about stabbing people and all that stuff, and they're making millions from it.
It's mad, yeah. And it's like the immigration thing. It's like I'm not against immigration. I'm not pro or against helping people and stuff like that. But you got to understand there are rules to live in Britain. People seem to have forgot this, right? The rule is that you are born here. You get a birth certificate. You are here. You have rights to NHS, X, Y, and Z. The price is, though, that we work and we pay into an invisible bank called the government. Everyone has got to pay into the system. In return, we get national insurance, we get the army, we get emergency services, and we pay into that to the day we die. To the point where you might retire, have to spend all your hard earnings in your house savings on your care, and then when it comes to giving your house to your family, there's no left, and your family then is stuck in the same hole. Yeah, like my granddad. He lost like £250,000 looking after himself, even though he worked all his entire life, and he left some money for me. That's why I bought my first house. So God bless him. Thanks, Granddad. But again, my granddad should have been able to give me all that money. That means it takes my family out of poverty, meaning that I can help my next family. But it's like we're stuck in a trap. But that's the rules. You live here, you pay. We're not living in a free country. We pay to live here. The issue is, if we've got people freezing to death in winter, which we do, if we've got homeless soldiers, which are, don't forget, we don't create war, but
correct,
we are sent to war, dying on the streets. We've got homelessness. We've got people not being able to pay the bills, people in red line in debt, people committing suicide for debt, people not being able to get on the property ladder ever, meaning that they have to do elsewhere. There's no jobs available, but yet people come from other countries that, don't forget, we have been sent to in previous wars to kill and murder, so no wonder they don't like us. Yeah, they're coming over here, breaking the law, the law of the land, not paying into anything and getting better benefits than the homeless, poor and people have been to war for us. Do you think that's racist? It's like, hang on, but if we go to any country and we arrive on a boat, we'd be probably shot.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to get into Taiwan or something, or a country that's like got a crazy prison laws.
Yeah, if you rock up to North Korea.
No, yeah. Oh, your life imprisonment.
Yeah.
Life imprisonment. Why do you think crime rates are so low in other countries and stuff like that? We need to literally understand that the Western way of living is corrupt and broken. And I honestly can say this, I love my country, I love my people, so I'm saying this not out of hatred for my country. I'm a patriot, but the country's full, we're all fucked, we're all having to work ridiculous to the point of death, when life we've got to enjoy our life at the same time. Everyone's struggling. We've got teenage suicide, young people stabbing each other over lyrics in songs, Sue on the bikes, postcodes, nothing to do with war. The country is done. But yet we are still missing the point, is that we are all being manipulated in Western way of living by huge organisations to keep us buying from the companies where the money goes to the same people.
Yeah. I think society is built to keep us down. Like, utility companies, gas, electrics are making record profits, but the bills keep going up.
Yeah, isn't it weird that every year when they announce on TV that the audacity that the profits, and it's like a profit, so it's after they've paid everything, after they've paid like accidents that could have happened. Imagine how many accidents happen, work related, slip, trips and falls, people having car crashes, people, companies like as big as like Scottish Power and all these massive huge companies that must get sued every year, but yet the profit is like, I can't even remember, there's some billions in it, and you're like, hang on, so how many people own that company? And you're like, you work it out, it's like, well, that's a lot of money, it's enough to cure world hunger. So why did a bill? How can we be in an energy crisis, but yet the profits go up every year, and it's like not like 20 quid, it's billions, but yet we're in an energy crisis. How does this make sense?
Like I said, I think it's just to keep us down. They don't want normal everyday people progressing.
Makes no sense.
Nah, like the government says, utility companies was taking a piss. Just says, you know what, we're going to put a price cap on it. Fair enough, now we've got a roof.
Yeah.
And then every year they just go, we're not going to increase the prices, we're going to increase the price cap. So you're doing it, you just change the fucking term
I've
for
got
it.
an issue at the moment. I'm not going to mention the energy provider. So I moved into my house in January last year. Again, my granddad left me that money, so I was lucky enough to buy a house, and it's big enough because he left me just enough to have look after my nana. So it's wicked. I get to live with my best mate, but she's got her own space. I've got my own space. We've got a cinema room. It's brilliant. I'm so blessed at the moment. And I wish that everyone's could get that from their family that loved them, and they pass away and they could pass it down. But they're all being robbed, aren't we? Fleeced. So I'm very blessed, and that's why I love my granddad so much. He was a good man. And it's like, so we moved in January, and I had my massive list of, your bills you've got to pay, move over, takes days, doesn't it? And you've got to ring back, do this. And I changed everything over, and I'm on the phone to this guy, obviously in another country or whatever, I don't know where, but I couldn't understand a word he was saying. And again, I was like, oh yeah, and he sorted it all out. Yeah, you moved over, provided him meter readings, all that stuff, all done, signed over, right? That was proven. Anyway, so quite recently I've been getting emails saying I'm in X amount of debt. So the debt goes up. So I think at the moment it's at £615 minus. And as soon as I pay my bill, like 180 quid, it drops. And then goes back up to 600, then drops. So I rang and I said, I'm in £600 debt. She went, well, when you moved in, you didn't set up a new direct debit. I went, but I've been with you for like 4 or 5 years. So when I moved house, I rang, switched it all over, provided everything. She said, yeah, but you needed to set up a new direct debit because it's from because it's a new house. I went, well, you always record the calls. It says it every call you're about to record it. Go back and check. No one told me. Why haven't I changed my bank account? Yeah. I said, not even that. Every time I'm late on my bill, which I am, I don't get paid, I'm not rich. I was late this month, this is why it started the conversation. It was on last week. And she rang me 3 days later saying, oh, is there any reason why, you're late on your bill? Do you want us to give you some help, blah, 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 blah. I went, oh, it's perfect you've rung me. I'm on my way to a school. I've got about a couple hours to drive. So can we talk about this debt? She went, yeah, perfect timing then. I said, how come 3 days after me missing a bill, you ring me asking where the money is and providing help? 3 days. I said, but why am I in £650 debt then? She went, well, because of 3 months you didn't change your direct debit, so it just built up until you rang up and set a direct debit up. And I said, yeah. I said, so for 3 months you didn't ring me, but after 3 days you ring me when my bill's late. She went, oh, it's not our job to do that. Like, I went, so I want it wiped. I'm going back and forth now. I said, I want it wiping. I said, go back. What's the point recording calls? Go back, check. Yeah, won't do it. So I'm in £615 debt. And again, it's like, I'm not paying it, you're mad. So I'm just letting it go up, and then every month I pay a bill and it goes back down again. I said, you're fucking mad. You're absolutely mad. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. And it's like legal robbery. Yeah. Legal robbery.
It's like, I was looking the other day, I read a story, inheritance tax. So say, for example, say your granddad passed money down to your dad. Well, say 100 grand, he passed it to your dad. Your dad loses half immediately, but your dad doesn't touch it. So he's now left with 50 grand. He then dies, passes it down to you, another 50% gets taken off that.
It's mad. It's like, but the money's already been taxed.
Yeah.
It's legal robbery from us. Legal robbery. That's what tax is. You should pay tax on products that come from overseas. There's got to be a little bit of tax on everything for, deliveries, damage to the environment, stuff like. Listen, we're not stupid and we're not animals either. We're all actually flexible and willing to pay our part. The British people are actually probably some of the most understanding people on the planet. We're amazing. And we're very adaptable, and look, we've opened our communities to we are a multiracial, multicultural country, and it's been fully fine for X amount of years. But if that coffee you made me this morning, you start pouring over the sides, I go, oh mate, you're full, and you go, no, we're sound, bro, don't worry about it. I'd be like, Jesus Christ, what's going on? Something wrong here. But you do that to a country, you're racist.
Yeah.
It's nuts. There's nothing. It's like, again, if you watch the news, you'd think that men in nightclubs are going around trying to finger girls and slap girls' asses. Every now and again, you'll get a drunk man that's a bit of an idiot, and bouncers kick him out and go, that's one idiot. And he'll wake up morning and go, fuck's sake, I got twatted last night and I'm an idiot. I get it, one bad person, same with girls. But then if you watch enough of the news as well, you'd think that every man in nightclubs or pubs is going, just being horrible and racist and nasty. But in the same pub, there's mixed cultural people around. Well, you watch the news, you'd think we were disgusting people, and we're actually not. We're literally, it's a very dangerous time, not just to be British, whether you're British white, British Muslim, Pakistani, whatever. It's a very dangerous time to be a man.
Yeah, I agree.
You understand what I'm saying?
I think it's even worse to be a white British straight man.
Oh, don't get me started, Jesus Christ, yeah. It's and again, I've got gay friends, I've got gay mates who've been in Creamfield, been Magaluf, been all over these people, and they're absolutely fantastic, brilliant. One of my gay mates, I won't mention him because he goes mad, but I do. He actually says, I don't get what's going on with these faggots. And I'll be like, what? And he said it in the past, he go, I don't get it. He said, why do we need to be gay to be gay? He said, I'm a man, I just like men. He said, I don't need to run round being like, look at me. He said, I just don't understand it, what is going on. But then I actually don't think the gay community necessarily all like that. It's just that they're perceived to be like that.
I think how it is, you know, there's lads in our generation now listening to all this gangster rap and now are wearing the black, the knives and all that. And then in the gay community, they're seeing, oh, to be gay, you got to be camp.
Yeah,
it's that kind of, yeah.
Listen, what did we say at the beginning of this presentation, at the beginning of this podcast, right? You've got to be careful what you read, listen to and watch. It's like you have people that will only shop at M&S. There's a reason why, because they've been there, they like the food, and we only shop there. Me, I'm 3PB Mandem. I don't give a shit where I go. Do you know what I mean? You've got people there's a reason why emos don't shop at JD Sports. There's a reason why moshers don't shop at JD Sports. There's a reason why chavs don't hardly ever go into skateboard shops. Because we are all manipulated, brainwashed and propagandic tactics of what get us into that shop. We are what we consume. It's as simple as that. It's literally, that's Western way of living. That is it. And when you look at other countries, I was watching a Joe Rogan show the other day, and it showed what they're doing I might have in Korea. And in school, a massive part of education, and again, I might be wrong, it might not be Korea, it might be China or something, but where a massive part of their education is like food. It's not just like once a week lesson, you know, twice a week lesson. It's a part of the full-time curriculum, and they have to learn from such a young age how to cut a fish, how to do this, how to do that. Then they learn what toxins are in a fish, what toxins are in this plant, what cures this, what do you use for a cough, what do you use for this, what do you use for that. And then, like, there's no obesity, and then they all sit down. Every meal has got a certain amount of carbs, calories, this, that, and the other, and a treat, you know, stuff like that. But then they've got hardly in a case of cancer. Then you look at them in the morning, they're doing mixed martial arts every morning before they go to school, and we're just like, then you look at, or you've probably seen it some building sites, make sure everyone stretches at the beginning. Then you look at our building sites, and Terry and Bob and Dave have just come off a 4-day bender, and they went, right lads, get that, oh shit, I hate my life. And then sadly, you hear stories, don't you, of them amazing builders that once they've woke up, they're brilliant, they do the job, and then they kill themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they feel like the life's shit, because they're working 12-hour days, taxman takes all the money off them, then they go out on a Friday because that is their only means of enjoyment. Sadly, they want a partner because everyone wants to be loved. The partner then doesn't want to be looked at, the partner leaves them, and then they feel alone again, they kill themselves. It's like, it's like a story that is just forever been read and never been told, isn't it? A constant, you know, a lot of these suicide cases have a lot of similarities, don't they?
Yeah, of course.
And it all bottles down to, when you actually think about it, why are people going down these different paths? It's because we are what we consume. It's as simple as that. Hence why, like I said earlier, you know, full circle, knife crime is the end. Knife crime could be gun crime, it could be knife crime, it could be a one-punch kill, it could be a street fight that someone gets killed, so someone who kills someone who goes to prison. That's the end thing. So if it's someone getting stabbed, we call it knife crime. If it's someone getting shot, we call it gun crime. If it's someone battering someone, we call it, you know, GBH, ABH, and a manslaughter, whatever. But when you go down that path of that person, and you come to the start, and you realise what they're consuming, they all consume the same stuff. It's a weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah, mate, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Imagine we would turn the news on and we had like, you know, a BBC Radio 4 concert, you know, like somebody listening to bloody, I don't know, like some crazy old music at a festival, like, and start running around stabbing people. It just doesn't happen, does it?
Mm-hmm.
And, but yeah, I like it that you agree with me, like, and feel I've got a lot in common, but yeah. Right.
Mental health.
Mental health, yeah.
Why don't you talk? Why didn't you talk? Because I know you do now, you're more vocal, but why didn't you talk in the past?
I did 6 years. It was 6 years without any, and I plays part to being very intertwined with reality, you know. And again, like I said, a part of that's because of my dad and stuff like that, and seeing things around me. I mean, do you not think it's weird how anything to do with mental health medication has got a weird name at the end, like Azaween to Razarine. More pad with Razarine, and it just sounds evil, doesn't it? And I've got a couple mates that have been on it, and I've watched it ruin their life. They pile on loads of weight. They end up not being the person. They lose all their hair. Something happens, and like you see him a couple months later, and you're like, "Whoa, why are you in pub drinking pints, bro? You're not like that." He's like, "No, it's what I'm doing here. I'm just chilling here." Oh. And they've all got one thing in common. They're all taking extremely strong medication that they don't necessarily need to take. They're just what the doctor's prescribing them. And again, we could go on all day long about the medical industry, can't we? You know what I mean? And how much money they make and stuff like that. So yeah, it took 6 years, and it got to a breaking point where I was getting so busy with a knife crime that when I was getting attacked, you know, people saying the horrible stuff about my brother, about my family and stuff like that, it just become, you know, I started having like these sort of like fits in bed where I'd just be crying my eyes out and stuff like that. And then you know, I lived with a friend at the time, and got one mate called Mark, one of my best mates called Carl, who recently died of a heart attack. And you know, when they lived with me, they were like, Jesus Christ, especially Mark. Mark's more vocal about it. Carl was like, he suffered with mental health, so he knew that maybe I didn't want to talk about it, and we dealt with things in other ways.
He left you to.
Yeah, I don't want to make it sound like he didn't help me, because Carl was my main friend for my mental health.
Nah, some people are like, oh, if he wants me, he'll talk to me.
Yeah, me and Carl, you know, he suffered with his mental health. He was another prime example. Every PTSD medication or some medication he took was all Indirine or something like that, and I watched it, what it did to him. So we both agreed that it was no good. Anyway, but Mark was like, I remember him coming into my room one day, and he just went, bro, I can't believe, because he rents a room off me, that you've kept me up all night. He said, do you remember what you were dreaming about last night? I said, no, mate, I'm fully sweaty. And he got, mate, he was screaming, don't stab him, don't stab him, don't stab him, or like, ring the police, and like, he could hear me screaming. That's a common thing, that still happens now. It depends how run down I am, where I sort of, my mental health will take over, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, I ended up doing this speech at a homeless shelter in Blackpool, and this big, massive, like, hench sort of ginger guy was there, hurrying like a Viking, and he came over and he went, look, he said, we had a conversation, and he basically said, look, I know you don't want to talk to someone, blah, 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 let's let me have an hour with you, let me have half an hour with you. And I was still in my fuck off mode, you know what I mean? I'm not listening to anyone about mental health, I'm doing it myself, do you know what I mean? I've got this far, I'm going to be alright, you know, as much as it's hard. Anyway, he ended up talking to me, and this sneaky bastard got me. Yeah, he manipulated me, so we ended up having this conversation about something. Anyway, before you know it, I remember running into the bedroom, my girlfriend was in there at the time, and I went, she went, bloody hell. She went, that was meant to be like a quick 20-minute call, what you been doing? Like that, we're on the phone with him for like 2 hours. And basically what he did is, he sort of manipulated me, like we had this conversation, and he like led the breadcrumbs and stuff like that, you know, leading me into talking about him. And at that end of it, I told him everything. And I was like, you fucking bastard. And I remember him laughing at the end, and I was like, oh, why is he laughing at me? He's just about to tell me like what he thinks about me. And he went, you know what? He went, it's a good job you've got ADHD and PTSD. He said, because your personality is fucked. He went, you are the most craziest, looniest. I mean, I'm seen run down now, but a lot of people, I'm known as being I'm a bit of a hothead. I'm crazy. Like, I'll do 50 things at once. Do you know what I mean? A charity ride to London, whilst planning knife crime talks, whilst taking knives off the streets, whilst doing Facebook Lives, all at the same time, simultaneously. Do you know what I mean? it blows people's minds. So that's the number one things people say to me is you need to chill out because one day you're gonna
overdo it.
You overdo it, and I've done it. I've overdone it about 20 times, so I know what it feels like hitting rock bottom again and having to come back. But that's what the gym's for. Do you know what I mean? Like, Miller's out today. I have to go to the gym. If I don't go to the gym today, I'll be even more ill because I'll be ill in here as well as body. And he read to me, one of the key things he said to me, he said, you do realise that a lot of people misunderstand the NHS. He said, you can go to the doctors, do enough research and go and ask for what medication you want, mate. You pay for it. I was like, nah, you can't go to doctors and tell them what you want. Are you mad? He went, Byron, you can. He said, how about this? Try this medication. It's called venlafaxine, right? God's gift. And obviously, you might have to block that out. You know what I mean? Can't promote it, but do your research, right? And basically, it's a drug that promotes serotonin production in your brain. And the way he described my brain is you go through that much trauma that your lid flips and never returns. So you're just in hell 24/7 because you've constantly got the noradrenaline, the bad stuff injected into your brain. So you can't heal from it. You're constantly in fight or flight, which is true because even now, even though I'm on this medication, going on a night out, it does get easier as I'm getting older. But going on a night out, I'm hyper vigilant. Even now, 11 years later, I'm having a good time. It takes me, I could drink nearly half a bottle of vodka. My mates laugh about it. Like, some of my mates go, I can't believe how much you can drink before I get drunk, properly drunk. Because my brain is, I'm like, and I know people are staring at me. And obviously it doesn't help with doing the job that I do. And I'll see girls staring at me. Then I'll see someone looking at me over there and it could be literally saying, oh, that's that Byron there. He's all right in a minute. But in my head, my brain's going, that voice is going, no, they're not. They're saying, no, there's that dickhead there, there's that lad there, there's that guy there, there's that prick there, there's that guy there, there's that there. You know what I mean? It's like every night out, it's a battle, a real battle. And that's still 11 years later. So he said, you need to try this medication, is what I recommend. So anyway, I went on it. We tried for a couple of months getting the dose right, but then all of a sudden, it was right. And life got easier. And I was like, wow. And even the doctor went, you know what? Doing 6 years without medication was maybe a good idea because, like, you've built up natural resilience. You've built up natural resilience from expecting bad stuff to happen. So you've accidentally helped yourself by doing
to cope.
Yes. Yeah. So in the medication, basically, I took it this morning, just takes a little bit of the hardness out of the situation. Still difficult, still struggle getting out of bed, still have the same issues sleeping, still have to take loads of like sleeping tablets every night, all that kind of stuff. My mad concoction that I take every night. But it's allowed me to speak more openly, help more people, keep busy, and just that you're talking just sprinkling a little bit of happiness on the badness. And then fast forward all these years later, it's like the ADHD, PTSD, and all the badness in between has become the best part about my life. It's literally that easy. It's like I say to kids, I say, you know, like one of the hot topics at the moment, especially in colleges, is I hear young people say they hate the life and they don't like life. And I'll go, right, have you ever been Magaluf? No. You ever been a beefer? No. Been to a festival yet? No. What do you do then? Nothing, shit. I'll go, what are you doing at college? Oh, I'm doing this electrical engineering or something like that or whatever. And I'll go, oh my God, mate, wait till you get your first job. Yeah. Wait till you're on a beach with your top off going, woo, chasing girls. Girls, wait till you're upside down in a bin with a kebab all over your face. You're meant to be young and dumb. You just protect yourself. You put your seatbelt on in your mate's car. You stay away from drug dealers. You stay away from taking X, Y, and Z. You stay away from nice. And in between, you have as much fun. I said, you've seen the pictures. You know I go Magaluf and a beef. Half of them follow me on social media anyway. You see, I went out to Skegness 3 months ago dressed as a girl all weekend, an actual girl. Like getting my ass touched and that. And people are like, as if you're a teacher. I'm like, what, do you think I'm fucking going to be boring? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I said, wait till you do all these fun things with your life and I'll see you in a few years and I'll ask you again. It has happened now. I've done it for so long. I'll say, yes, you've been anywhere. And I'll go, all my days. Went Greenfield, like you said. Fucking hell, it was sick. Went this place, went that place. It's good. I say, you working now? Yeah, I've just got my first car. I put an exhaust on it, big alloys on it. I'm doing this and doing that. And I'm like, tell me your life shit now, mate. Nah, it's actually alright, bro. It's actually alright. And I'd be like, why do you think your life is shit when you're in school and college? It's because you're not old enough to earn enough money yet to even you know, and not be on contract with your mum and dad if you're lucky enough to have a mum and dad, you know, to buy it. You can't, and you're looking at all this stuff on Instagram and Snapchat and that, and you can't afford to buy anything by yourself. You go to college and it makes it worse because you are old enough to get a job so you can go and earn money, but yet you think of the short-term gain of getting minimum wage. Oh, I can buy this now, I can buy that now and go out and that, but then you don't go and understand just them extra 3 or 4 years at college will mean you catastrophically increase your wages so you can do better things.
The big picture.
And that's why I talk about Magaluf and Ibiza in schools. I literally, one of the slides is about Magaluf and Ibiza. It shows me in Ibiza, shows me on my motorbikes, shows me dressed as a girl, and everyone's like, oh my God, as if he's showing us this. I'm like, but why would I lie to you? I say, I know for a fact, because I've got teacher friends, I'll go, some of these teachers, you know, teachers go, what's he going to say now? I'll go home at night, drink bottles of wine and vodka, go to the pub, go on holidays, do crazy things, and guess what? You lot think they're dickheads. Because they're your teachers. I say, you're all manipulated into thinking they're assholes from the years above you. They're not. Do you know what I mean? They've got kids themselves. I said, am I a dickhead? Everyone will go, no, you sound innit. I go, well, for this 2 hours, I'm your teacher. So why is that teacher a dickhead? Because they've got to teach you the topics which they can't tell you the truth. Imagine if your maths teacher was like, yo, what's happening, people? Whoa, go on, what's happening? Yo, listen, we're going to learn maths today in a fun way. We're not going to do the square root of that. We're going to learn you things that you're actually going to need in day-to-day life. Everyone at your work bag now get a spirit level, get a tape measure. What we're going to do is we're going to use maths, and we're going to build this wall here, and we're going to build that using maths only. And you know what I mean? And use maths in actual, you know what I mean? Imagine
what you actually need it for.
Imagine your teacher being sound as out, like, what's happening at the weekend? Nah. Oh, no way did that happen. Listen, you speak to me after class, I need to get some advice on that, and I might have to report it, but I'm glad you're open and honest with me. Like, I have kids come up to me telling me about all the mad stuff they've done, and if I have to report it, I have to report it. But I'm sat there sometimes thinking, why did he trust me? And when I actually think about it, again, like I said to you, I never give myself credit, hardly ever, it's because I literally just don't lie to them.
Yeah.
That's it. And then, again, they help my mental health, I help their mental health, and now I'm living proof that mental health isn't a burden. It can actually be used as the best thing in your life. You know what I mean? My ADHD gets me out of bed in the morning. My ADHD takes me to the gym every day. My ADHD made me a British champion, and now I'm known as like the gym guy and one of all my best mates. I can go to any gym where I'm from and everyone knows me. I've got friends all over. I've got more friends in the gym than I've ever had in my life. I've made some of the best friends of my life that are going to be with my friends forever from the gym. It says up, and then all my mates in the gym have all got some sort of mental health. And then we're the idiots. Like, I went on a night out a few weeks ago, and we had this tight top on, and we're all looking hench, like the gym night out. And some lads were like, no, alright lads, fucking hell. And they weren't being dicks of us, but they were at the same time. They're like, yo, fucking hell, look inside, yo, where'd you get your clothes from? Your little brother's wardrobe. And I went, yeah, but you hate your bird, what's the shaggle store, innit? We're doing you fucking dickhead, sound boys, and turn around, I could tell it killed him. Yeah. And I was like, but yeah, we're the ones with the mental health. We're all drinking gin and lemonade and diet lemonade, even staying healthy when we're out. All our hearts are solid as oxes. We're all healthy as oak. We're all hench. We're all looking good. I know I've got a jumper on, but I've got my abs out and that. And all the birds are looking at us, so we're healthy. You know, some of my mates are married, so I'm not bothered about the birds, but we know we're looking good. We're feeling good. We've got good health. You know, everything's good about us, and this guy's trying to give us grief with a pint in his hand, and we know for a fact he's going to go to toilets and do about 4 lines in about 10 minutes, and I'm like, yo, you want to talk about my top, brother? What about your beer belly, bro? How old are you? I'm 35, I'm 36 in like 11 days. You're 36 in 11 days? I had January 9th, bro. Like 2 weeks or something. My 11 days about wrong, by the way. And they'll go, nah, how do you look that young? I go to gym every single day, bro, and eat healthy and take my vitamins. How old are you? I'm 24. I'm like, wow, you've been chewing on bricks, brother. But it's not. It's the burning the candle at both ends. Yeah. And with me, having so much trauma, and I went through so much bad stuff and doing drugs and stuff and all that like a normal person, it sort of fizzled out as I got older. And I just became a better and better person. Now I can handle it. And again, I got baptised, and you know, now the mission is to help as many people as possible, but at the same time look after myself. Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? I'm going to have as much fun as I physically can, at the same time as refusing to be ugly in an ugly world. And if that makes people not like me, then it makes people not like me, because it's like I'm not disliked for anything other than people think, I shouldn't be an art crime teacher because of like what I did when I was a kid, or they might see me in a nice car and that, but like I go to work every day and stop people dying. But yet the boyfriends and girlfriends are doing ketamine and robbing people and jacking people and stabbing people and that, and I'm like, yeah, well, I'm a bad guy, aren't I? So I'm not arsed.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
Yeah, man, I don't care what other people think. Unless they're paying my bills or mum in my bed, I don't give a fuck.
So I mean, I've said that to the police also. People don't understand the conversation you have with police or schools, and I'll say like, as if you're paying me to do this job, and like, you're best in country, you're good at it, you're amazing, the kids love you. Why would we? This is your job. It is your job to do this, and you've ended up being so good at it that why would we not fund you to do this? It's insane. So it's like a nice pat on the back, but it's you're doing something right. But I suppose every time you do something right, someone thinks you're doing wrong, innit?
Yeah, of course. I think with men's mental health as well. Like I'm bipolar.
Yeah.
Like that's something I have to live with for life.
Yeah.
Like I'm medicated, but I need that because I'm medicated. I'm a loose cannon.
Yeah.
And that works for me.
Yeah.
But then there's other people who are going through a bad moment, and they jump on medication. It's just not helping. It's just numbing you in that moment. It's not helping you.
I think the key word there is numbing.
Yeah.
And that, I think that it's mad, innit? Every single person, I'll go, what we guess your medication into vitamin or something, and they go, yeah, it does, it's called this, and I'll go, mate, just try this drug that I'm on. And then if some people do listen to me, they'll try it, and 6 months later, they'll go, bloody hell, I feel better. I've lost a bit of weight as well. And then, I've gone back to gym, and I'll say, I told you. You just need, if you have got real mental health issues, sometimes the world is so toxic and sad and miserable, you just need that sprinkle of a boost of what the serotonin.
Yeah.
That's all you needed. But you've gone to your doctor and said, what do I need? And the doctor's gone, because they must be doing it every day, numb to it. And they've gone, right, we'll put you on that. Come back in 6 months. That. Sometimes the doctors just like, I don't even look at the screen.
Yeah.
Where with me, I went in and she went, you want to do what? And I went, yeah, I want to try this dose. And then I went on less, then I went on more, then I went on more, then I went on less, and now I'm on the lowest I've ever been on, and I'm fully functioning, and I've got a normal life, but my normal life has got a layer of trauma, and I'm still fucking alright.
Yeah.
But it's taken work, but...
Yeah, you have to learn how to function, how to thrive, and turn it and flip it. Like you flip your ADHD and it's made you successful.
Yeah.
My bipolar, like, if I let that get the best of me, it'll kill me.
Yeah.
So I'm running from that, and by running from that,
keeps you moving.
Yeah, it keeps me moving. I get myself in different paths. I go to the gym, I box, I got my business, I do this, and it keeps me thriving.
It's the same thing, and it's like if you say you died today, you'd have people who don't like you saying, oh my God, how good looking he was. Oh my God, the house, he had this wife, he had them beautiful kids, he had so much, his podcast, he had so much potential. But let's say this podcast blows up so much that it ends up being like the England Joe Rogan, yeah? People will say, dickhead.
Yeah.
He's like, what? What? It's like, it is just mental, innit? It is mental. It's just insane, but it's not our fault. I'm not saying this, I'm laughing at anyone. It is literally been programmed into us. That's it. And for all these people that were young enough to use social media from like, let's say even primary school or year 7, and your brain's got still many years of growing to you're 25, sadly now that is hardwired in your brain, and we then become fully functioning adults with that toxic mentality, that toxic behaviour. We think we've got the right to comment on people's posts, think we've got the right to be racist on a post because we'll get away with it, no one will come to our door, think we can do whatever we want, and eventually, you've got 80 years worth of living your life like that. You fucking amount of toxic pollution you've added to society. But yeah, there's 75 plus million people living in Britain doing it all at the same time. Then you've got millions of people around the world, and billions of people around the world. It's like, wow. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
When if we just went factory reset, we know scientifically our brains take till 25 to start growing. Let's stop polluting these minds. Let's start creating scientists again. Let's start creating bricklayers, plumbers. Let's start creating decent people. ACEs has been scientifically proven, so let's apply that to life. I'm sorry, kids, you're going to hate us, but it's not your fault. It's the people that are much older than you. We've ruined it for you. We've been the guinea pigs. So this is banned, this is banned, this is banned, this is banned, this is banned. These companies are not allowed to do this, that, and you're only going to take responsibility for when they do. Anyone sees a company selling vapes, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Vape shops actually should be taken off. We shouldn't have vape shops at all. They should be just, you go to your doctor if you need to stop smoking.
Yeah.
That's it. That is it. They're just a legal illegal drug dealing scam. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Same with barbershops. But again, I've seen politicians even bring this up in Parliament and get called racist. It's like, in Preston alone, we must have more barbershops now than we do takeaways. You drive past them at 12 o'clock at night, they're empty. You just think we're stupid.
Yeah.
They think we're absolute dickheads.
And they've got top of the range shops as well.
Yeah, and there's some that have got like RS3s, BMWs outside. They literally, people from other countries are looking at this free system and going, dickheads. That's it. But we can't call them racist. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're taking advantage of the British public, all of us. So it's racist against all of us, everyone from every community. It's like British racism, you know what I mean, as a collective, coming in, and then if we question it, we're the dickheads. It's like, hang on, we pay into this system. Where's our money? Do you know what I mean? And it's just so bad. So we need to stop all that, and then we'll have this catastrophic, immense, like reset on life. And then don't forget, then when like I said, when these kids then enter adult life, we out all this toxic shit, and then they consume it when they're somewhat an adult. Then they've got another 80 years of living, hopefully not, longer, of spreading a lot less toxic stuff into society. But trying to explain that to people is just halfway through. We've already had now, like, if I'm speaking to a cavern in a school, 14 conversations about Andrew Tate, 14 conversations about immigration and stuff like that, and you're just like, fuck me, man. You're legally allowed to be a teacher. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But a lot of it is just distraction techniques.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They'll force Andrew Tate on you. You're such a bad person, but we're going to tax you for everything you've got.
Yeah.
And we're the good people because we told you so.
Yeah. You are right. And again, if I were to choose, one thing about what makes my life horrible right now, which I also did not expect in school. Obviously, look, my brother's dead, but I built up my resilience. I'm never getting him back, and I'm doing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
The horrible thing is, and a guy said this to me actually, it was my pastor at church. He said, it's horrible, innit? And I was like, what's horrible? Because of the way I was talking to him. And he went, once you take the glasses off, once you take the glasses off or put the glasses on, one or the other. No, once you take the glasses off, you can never put them on again. Once you see the world for what it is, you can never go back.
Yeah.
And it stresses me out because I'll see Facebook posts about, for example, do you know about that with Tommy Robinson? Look, love him, hate him, Andrew Tate, whatever. It is what it is. No one's saying you're an asshole or racist. Look, it is what it is. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. But like, there was that boxer that do you see him? Yeah. And he pushed him and that and stuff like that. That boxer murdered someone.
Yeah. One punch killer. One punch killer.
Mm-hmm. How is he legally allowed to be a famous person now? Because don't forget, the person who he killed, why is no one talking about the parents? Mm-hmm. They're sat there going, oh my God, people are calling my son's murderer a hero. Yeah. Yeah, it's nothing. We should boycott the what's it called? What's his name again? Who he pushed? Robinson. Should push that to a side and go, oh, 1 second, I'm pushing to a side. We already know who he is. Yeah. He became famous by himself for doing whatever he's doing. Oh, hang on, mate. How much are you getting paid for this fight? What? Hang on, whoa. You got your boxing license back after you murdered someone. And you had a whole other list of violent crimes.
I'm sure when he was on bail for 5 months, he committed 25 other violent crimes. Yeah. And he was kept out, and then he went on to kill the lad.
And it's like, hang on. Again, it leads down that rabbit hole we said right at the beginning. Everything becomes, this is the weird thing, everything becomes full circle because everything's attached to each other. You got people in prison going in for violent crimes, rapping and coming out of prison more famous than what they was when they went in prison because of TikTok. Mm-hmm. So how can we say toxic masculinity is only coming from one pot, one person that's only been fair? I only learned about Andrew Tate, what was it, 4 years ago or something? Yeah. 4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like you'd think that human life started 4 or 5 years ago. It's like, it's insane. Again, is he an asshole? Yes, because no one's dating my daughter who acts like that. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? But everyone's switched it onto Tommy now. And I'm like, forget about Tommy. You've got a guy. There was a picture that circulated last night, and I actually commented on it, and I said what I've just said to you. I said, this is why England's so fucked. I said, we reward the wrong people. This person killed someone, whether it's by accident or not. We've allowed him to become famous in the same sport with the same actions of what he killed the young lad. And that parent, that mum, that brother, that sister of that kid he killed is now having to live their normal day of life, and they could be in a pub. You could be walking down the street, they might see posters of him and all that lot, knowing that guy killed your son.
Yeah, it's a reminder, like, for the parents, it's a reminder. And people can say, oh, he can change, but flip it round, he could have fucked a child, gone to prison. I can go, oh, he's changed, give him another chance. You don't want that cunt on telly, do you?
It's like when we have knife crime teachers who used to be gangsters, and they say lived experience, and I go, yeah, your lived experience works in some cases, I understand that. But would you let a terrorist who blew Manchester Manchester Arena up with that concert, would you let him come out of prison reformed and teach people not to be terrorists?
Yeah, exactly that.
Would you let a paedophile go into schools and train kids how to like watch out for the symptoms of
child safety?
But for some unknown reason, you stab someone or shoot someone, you can be a celebrity or murder someone. We can't have our cake and eat it in this country. That is why this country is on its arse, because Western way of living, we are ants in an ant farm. Literally, to live, we've got to consume. This is created by the organisations that run the country and the world. We all know that now. What is it, like eight companies or something, 8 families that run the world. It's rubbing it in our face that they make these record profits, but yet there's an energy crisis. You know what I mean? Bullet companies, bomb companies, nuke companies, all making billions and billions and billions in revenue in just 1 year. You know, which is it's just like we're in debt. And who are we in debt to? The banks. It's like, hang on, aren't these British banks? Aren't these banks all supposed to help us? Why can't the banks just go, I'll tell you what, till you paid your bills back, we'll just knock the interest on the heads, pay us back slowly, then we'll start again. We've got our money back, we've made mistakes, we're buzzing. But people don't forget there's interest on our debt from the bank. So it's like, even the banks are evil.
Yeah.
And again, we could go so off topic, but this all again becomes full circle. Why are people not escaping the council estate? Because we're all in poverty. Why are people being told about X, Y, and Z being toxic, but we're not talking about OnlyFans and so on and so on? It all, see what I mean? For this conversation, how many times have we come full circle? And we're just two blokes. Your experience is you're seeing this firsthand with the people you're working with, and I'm seeing it like on the front line in the schools of where these people are saying this is actually happening, when what they're saying is happening is not happening. It's total opposite.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's a narrative just rammed down everyone's throats through the media and social media.
Yeah.
And if you go against that, you're an enemy as well.
Yeah, you're an enemy. It's like when they use celebrities for knife crime and stuff, and I'm like, why do we need a celebrity to say put down a knife? Why can't we just like listen to us people who are actually doing the work? It's nuts. Honestly, the system is so broken. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. And the rabbit hole is so deep. We could do 17 podcasts and still only touch the iceberg. Yeah, and if we had more guests here who had different experiences, you could have someone here. So I'm knife crime, and I do suicide. So you might have someone who does criminal exploitation, someone who does something else, and we'd literally put the world back to rights, and then nothing would ever change. Do you know, the only hope is that enough people will watch this and they'll go, oh my god, yeah, that's right. Like, I'll say a question to like the audience that are watching this. If you're going through anything that's difficult with your kids, like gang culture, stuff like that, the things we've spoke about, please don't think you're alone, because you're not. Every parent that I work with whose kid is involved in some sort of knife crime, drug dealing, are all going through the same things. You are not alone. And when you're in your house and your kid's smashing the house up, not going to school, bullying people, no respect, running around, carrying knives, selling weed, smoking weed, you feel like in your household, because you don't talk to your neighbours, is that it's only you going through it. Let me tell you now, it is probably one of the number one things that teenagers are going through, and they're all been brainwashed. Just have a look at your way your kid dresses. Does he dress it? Foot Locker, Foot Asylum, Hood Rich, Trap Star, Moncler Fit, Canada Goose jackets, they buy off Temu and stuff like that. Does he want to wear gold chains? Does he smoke vapes? Does he smoke weed? Is he smashing the house up? Is he depressed? Is he depressed? Is he anxious? And then he blames it on the world, nothing to do with the drugs, because weed cures cancer. Is he treating girls like shit? What's he listening to? Is it drill music, grime music, stab music? is he going to school or is she going to school? It's all the same list of I can't even say that word. Can you say it?
Characteristics.
I'm going to say carrots. You know what I mean? It's all what he just said throughout the whole entire country. So you're not alone, yeah? Just keep working on your kid and hopefully you can pull them out of it. Give them enough information. Don't be scared about showing them some blood, gore, murder. You know, do some research online. Try and book JJ for the school. I'll come in and do it for you, you know what I mean? But other than that, you know what I mean? It's like, just a little message for you all. You're not alone, trust me. I've seen it happen to my own brother, and I've seen it happen to 600,000+ people. It's a shame.
Yeah, and knife crime is on the rise again.
Everyone who message me thinks they're by themselves and they're only going through it by themselves, and then I tell them, they'll go, I'm not alone. I'll say, you're not alone. You're not alone. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, mate, last question I'd like to finish on.
Yep.
I ask this everyone.
Yeah.
You sat here today with your maturity, knowledge, wisdom, lived experiences. You go back to a 12-year-old you. What would you say to yourself?
Well, it's an odd one, that, because mine's murder, innit? Because I do get asked that question a lot, if you could go back. Obviously, I'd say multiple things to myself. I'd tell them about needing to save my brother. I'd also say, remember, you're not just saving your brother, you're saving the killers. You've got to be mature about that, because obviously they're on a different path now. And I'd say, I'd sort of teach myself that I was right even at that age, that manipulation, brainwashing, propaganda, all the feelings I've got in my body, like, why are we doing this? Honestly, since a young age, I've always said to myself, why are we doing this? Or why am I doing that? Or why are we doing this? Oh, right, that's how you get popular, I'd do it. You know, I'd tell my younger self that you are right, but just keep being you, be nice to people, treat people with respect, and don't be afraid to be that big geek that you are in your heart. You can be a chav, but still be the geek that you are. You know what I mean? Do things you want to do. That's a good thing that the kids need to understand. Do things you enjoy. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I loved skateboarding. I got to the point where I could do a backflip on my bike. I could do bloody skateboarding, skating. I got so good at skating. Me and my mates used to skate all the time. It was wicked. We'd skate to the bus train station and go to different places. And all of a sudden, when one of my best mates quit because he didn't like it because he weren't learning quick enough, I had no one to go with, so I quit. When I look back, being my big geeky self, Pokemon, PlayStation games, rollerblading, stuff like that, I could have literally just gone, I'm going to go myself then. But I quit because he quit. You know what I mean? There's multiple things I would have needed to know, about saving my brother, being more respectful, treating people better, never been afraid to be myself, make sure I go to higher education, don't be an idiot, your teachers aren't bad. But one of the main things would definitely be never quit because someone else does. Do you know what I mean? Always do what you want to do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Follow your own path.
Follow your own path, but instead ended up following about 20 different people's paths. And again, yeah, I do believe that question, what I've just answered, it's truthful, but it's an impossible question because I believe in God now. And I believe that the path is written out. There's no way that every single job that I did, every little bit of my job added up to where that day when I opened that laptop and I started making my own JJ effect, the manipulation part, I just went and it was done. Obviously it's got better as the years have gone on, but I had no preparation, no college course of how to use PowerPoint. I just, a lad in work helped me do it a little bit and only learnt me the basics. Then I taught everything myself, YouTube videos, stuff like that. But the fact that now I look back and I literally just made it and it all just rolled out my brain, off my tongue, into my fingers, and I did it, and then the police and everyone was like, have you done that? There's just no way that someone with no GCSEs, someone that's had, the traumatic experience that with families had, there's just no way there's been no intervention. I can't take credit for it all, and I never want people to think that I do. As much as I did it, I do think it's come from multiple sources. My dad, my mum, my brother, different experiences, other people's trauma. Yeah,
it's learned experiences, isn't it? That's what makes you you.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally ACEs. It's literally that, and it's made me. Yeah. And now, again, a part of my process, a part of my history is I'll always remember this podcast because I've not slept and I was up all night and I still came.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And we got the Preston connection.
And the Preston connection, yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah. Hopefully that was good enough for you.
Yeah. Anything else to finish on?
No, honestly, that was brilliant. I've not done a podcast in ages. I've turned a few down because I've been so busy. And when we spoke, I was like, and I threw that date, and you went, yeah, we can do it. I went, because don't forget, I should have been in bed now. I went, you know what, let's do it. And honestly, you've like factory reset me. As much as I'm ill, I do apologise for all the sniffing and stuff like that. I am ill. But your factory reset me to like where I enjoy doing podcasts. You know, you get bored of being asked the same questions over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Like, you'd not asked me once, like, would I go back and save my brother that night? You know what I mean? Common sense question. It's like, why would you ask someone that? Because the answer would always be yeah. You know, and for me, what makes it different is that I'd save the lads as well. You know, and say, well, lads, you're going to end up ruining your life. You know what I mean? But that took a lot of growth to get to that point. But you didn't even ask for the question.
No, it's obvious, isn't it? Yeah.
No, but you'd be surprised how many times you get asked that arrogant question. It's not arrogant, it's just stupid. It's like asking, it's just asking something crazy. It's a certain question you shouldn't ask and you didn't. So yeah, mate, you've sort of reset me. And and even though I'm ill, I really enjoyed coming. So yes, hopefully you can all jump on my platforms. You're going to put my platforms on, I'll send them you later. And you can join my process as well, right? So nice one, everyone. Thank you, mate.
Like Joe, Byron just said, you can find all these socials in the links. You'll be tagged in every videos anyway, so check out your good work and what you're doing. But Byron, I do appreciate you travelling, coming here today when you are ill, this close to Christmas as well.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but nah, thank you for coming, mate.
Appreciate it. Respect.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Right, mate.
Thank you for listening to From Rock Bottom. If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe, like and share. It really helps us keep doing this work and bringing these stories to light. You can also follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content and ways to get involved in the conversation. Most importantly, if you're struggling right now, please don't suffer in silence. Reach out, talk to someone, seek support. You are not alone, and you are absolutely worth life. Take care, keep fighting, and we'll see you in the next episode.